All right. Well, it sounds like that's just a good excuse for me to fire up the audio and start recording.
Hit that button.
I did, but then I was like, oh man, I suddenly have to take a deep breath. I don't know. I think we need to change the filter on the AC. I've been a little Christoffled lately. But I did have an incident last night where I was feverishly grabbing notebooks in the dark, and I let my flashlight cast over my computer desk, and I'm like, oh, it's dusty. Let me dust that real quick.
When was the last time I dusted my desk? It wasn't too long ago.
Okay. But, the dust hides. Hi, welcome to What's Up. We're talking about dusting today.
We're dusty boys.
Well, the dust does make me sleepy. But yeah, okay, so we're here. We've done a cold open, so I'll go ahead and remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by patrons like Aiko Comics, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Sodasun0424, and Minigamer75. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, you should consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it'll really help us out. Thanks for the support, everybody.
Thank you. I don't have anything to crap open. I don't know if that was caught earlier. So no for y'all.
No, I don't think that was on recording yet.
Eh.
Okay, I will close some of these up, because we don't want ambient audio. But hey, we're probably going to talk about games today. All games, nothing but games. Oh my god, so many games.
So many!
So I actually made sure to write down a list of stuff last night.
Wow.
So, because there's a lot. So I don't know if you had anywhere in particular you wanted to start, or what you think would be interesting for me to start.
No, just go. I'll just bounce off you.
Okay, well, I guess, let's see. Top of my list is Borderlands 3, which I've been playing. Earliest. I'm not done with it. I'm taking a break to play other stuff, but I've been playing it off and on, finally. And just, in general, enjoying it. It's pretty good. They still got that Borderlands-y charm. The dialogue and stuff all still lands. Though, I don't know. Some people don't like that writing style. It's funny. We're still having this conversation about Osaka Hime's localization, and I'm sure that those people are the same kind of people who complain about Tiny Tina. Meanwhile, I'm like, I understand being random is not funny, but also she is actually funny to me, so get wrecked, nerds.
Nerds!
Not that I've run into Tiny Tina yet in Borderlands 3, but I'm sure she's there, because she's in the trailer. I did, however, run into Maya's apprentice, who is her own adorable scamp. There's a mission after you get off whichever freaking planet she's from, Athenium or whatever. Wherever Maya's monastery was that I can't remember right now, because I've played 4 games since then. Oh my god, so many games. But you rescue them and bring them onto the sanctuary to do stuff. And so she has a quest, her apprentice, where she's like, hey, can you go back and get my stuff? I forgot all my shit, because was a street urchin who was used to moving. So, Malawan seems to be playing the big bad corporal in 3. Really? Atlas was your big thorn in your side in 1, and then Hyperion in 2. Now it seems to be because pretty quickly it's interesting. You leave Pandora pretty quick. I don't think that's a spoiler. There's honestly, I think the best way to describe it, Lucky, if you didn't know this already, was basically, you know how there were zones in previous Borderlands where there was all the flats or whatever were kind of similar, and then you had the highlands in 2 were kind of similar and stuff. As far as I can tell, those are all just different planets now, where you get 1 or 2 interconnected maps which have different linked environments, but you don't necessarily explore them super deep. Which is a little sad. But on the same time, it does let them do way, way different environments. You go to Promethea, where Atlas is headquartered, as your second big planet, and hey, you've never been to a giant space metropolis before in Borderlands, because that doesn't work on Pandora. So they do get to flex their environmental muscles, but it does mean I think the individual planets are a little bit smaller. But still, you get some fun moving around and stuff. So immediately after you leave Pandora, you find out the Children of the Vault are teamed up with Malawan. So you fight lots of bandits who are all basically COV at this point, and then you fight lots of Malawan guys. And also animals. But anyway. But yeah, so Malawan's stolen all of her stuff, and this one asshole private keeps getting away from you and is reading out pages of her diary, and it's just it's pretty funny. The game still has the sense of humor. I mean, I have some small nitpicks, it's still really fun and fluid, and all the additions, ground pounding is really easy, mantling, thank God, right? We think about that being an addition, but it's so essential to the game now. It's just oh my god, I can just climb ledges now, thank God. But on the other hand, some stuff is just kind of nitpicky. Like, I always feel like I never have enough goddamn ammo. I don't know if it's because I favor full auto weapons slightly more still, but just, I don't know, audience. Ooh, hold on. I was slightly distracted. I was in a chat and there was a thing.
That is one of those things that usually happens, is audio devices go crazy when there is otherworldly activity.
Yeah, so Lucky got a little ghosty, but sometimes I don't notice that right away, but my audio freaked out a little bit, so I was like, hold on, let me take a pause, see what's happening. Alright, so I was saying that I'd feel like I don't ever have enough ammo because I think they fixed, like, the ammo spawn algorithm again, so it doesn't just spawn the ammo you need, it'll spawn ammo you can't use again, which I don't like.
Well, from what I understand, they did a lot more crazier things with ammo, too. Like, you have alternate fires. And...
Oh, yeah, your guns are way more complex. I'll talk about that in a second. But they all still use the same ammo pool, so...
Ah, okay.
Like, it's if I'm mainlining 3 guns, and then, like, I use them all, it's like, okay, I'll open an ammo crate. I get, like, 2 or 3 out of 6 ammos that are for the guns that I'm actually using, and then it's like, oh, here's some useless shotgun and rocket ammo you're not using. I'm like, oh, come on, game. I can't remember. Was that in 2 where they fixed it so you only spawn the ammo you need?
I don't think it was only the ammo you need, but I think they fixed it so that they spawned more of what you were missing.
Yeah, it definitely weighted it, and I was like, now it's not weighted anymore. It's just like, random, here's whatever. And it's still Borderlands. It's not like you want to just pop up in the menu and like hot swap to like, oh shit, all 3 of my guns are empty. Let me pick up some random crap I'm carrying in my bag and jam it in there so I have gun ammo. Luckily, I am playing Amara, so I am very good at punching people to death.
Solid.
I think the other thing is that a lot of the maps are now the more, at least some of the bigger areas are more the linear type, you know, like where you would go to the end and face a boss kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, because, yeah, Borderlands had that a lot where there's like hub maps and then there's like linear zones you run all the way to the end to fight a boss and come back. Yeah. A lot more maps are like that second part now, and they only have vending machines like at the very front, and there's only like one fast travel thing, and so... Like, the fast travel stuff is a little more fluid. You can fast travel to vehicles in larger hub areas. You can get a couple nodes, and it's pretty easy to teleport between them. You can teleport back to Sanctuary at any time from your map. You don't need to be at a fast travel station.
Okay.
But, like I said, the vending machines are way more rare now in certain maps, and I'm just like, God damn it, Marcus, get off your ass and send more vending machines out. I need to buy bullets. So that's just a nitpick to me. It's like, you're Borderlands 3. You have 1 billion guns. Let me use my guns. That said, though, they've done some interesting stuff with the guns. The brands are even more differentiated again. Right? Like, it seems like every game they get better and better at differentiating that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Teddior does weird stuff when you reload. Dollar all military-style stuff. They usually have the fire selection you talked about.
Oh, okay.
Malawan guns are all elemental, and usually they can switch between 2 elemental types. So you can be, like, shock or corrosive, or fire or cryo, stuff like that.
Yeah, see, that's what I was like, when you said that, like, it seems like Maliwan was the evil corporation thing, I was sad because I've always been a big user of Maliwan guns.
Well, so have I, but they've kind of done some stuff to the Maliwan guns in 3 that I'm not happy about.
Oh, really?
So, in 1, everything was just, like, different coats of paint, like, it was barely differentiated. In 2, like, everybody got their own unique aesthetics, and they kind of got different stuff. Now in 3, they're even more different, and Malawan weapons are usually more energy-y. And that means that you kind of gotta, like if you want to use an SMG, you gotta, like, hold it down and let it charge up, and then it starts firing full, and I'm like, I don't like this as much. You're killing the fun for me. I also love Malawan guns. That said, Malawan snipers, which are, they call them particle rifles usually, you charge up and shoot a big beam, those are great. It's just SMGs and assault rifles from them no longer fit my playstyle. I find myself using a lot of doll guns, because they are just the most normal-ass FPS guns, and I'm just like, I just want to shoot things. And maybe if I get an exotic, that's, like, fun, but, like, I don't know. The identity is cool, it just, as a player, not all guns fit, because they're so different, not all guns fit my playstyle now.
Well, I guess that's probably one of the things they're trying to angle for is, you know, we have all these options available for your playstyle, and you're going to be good at some and not so great at others.
Yeah, I already felt that in 2, but I kind of still don't like what they've done with Jacobs, because those are almost always, like, semi-auto slower. So, like pistols, cool. Sniper rifle's usually cool. An assault rifle, I'm like, this is not what I want my assault rifle slot for, guys. You know, but that's, again, I think that's just my playstyle. I like to have a couple of, like, close-up, full-auto, spray-and-pray guns when there's like 50 million tiny things crawling all over you. And then I prefer higher power, longer range guns for like, oh hey, there's an enemy over there, or there's a boss, I'm gonna keep my distance, that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure Lucky ghosted out again because my audio got all choppy.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Maybe Discord's just being weird today.
All right.
Who knows?
Maybe someone else ghosted and we just don't know yet.
Spiritual ghosting. But yeah, so that I think that could just be my personal preference. Like I said, a lot of these are different. Teddy Orr guns now do multiple different things if you throw them. That's where the walking guns were, which I found one of those at one point. But also some of them turn into static turrets. Like they stick to walls or floors and just sit there and shoot a little bit. Some of them still explode.
See, I was actually wondering about that because one of the hallmarks of like the first two Borderlands game is you always had a guy who had a turret. It's like you have your weird ass siren, you have your weird ass like ninja abilities or whatever, and then you have a guy with a turret. And I was like, I wonder what like. And I've always liked playing. Like I like playing shit. I can't remember the fucking names.
It's rolling for one, but who was it?
Yeah.
Two. Saxton.
It was Axton.
Okay.
And I always like that stuff, especially with Axton, where you could literally just throw your turret and it just sticks to a fucking ceiling. I'm all like, this is great.
Yeah, you can do that with some Teddy Orr guns now. I think Axton's equivalent in this is the mech pilot girl, because you summon a giant vehicle, but it moves. I don't know. I've only played Amara. Now, I will say, they have gotten a lot crazier with active skills, because you get multiples, which you can freely switch from anytime from the pause menu. And you don't just get 3. You get 3 tech trees, but as you progress down those trees, you can get new ones. Like, I use the AoE slam a lot because I'm like, this is my emergency button, But then later I got eruption, which sends a row of hands from the ground in kind of like a line, and I'm like, that's fun. I'll use that one sometimes. Like, so it depends on what I'm doing. So yeah, those are a lot more flexible. You don't need an object to change your active skill element. You unlock them as you progress in the skill trees. So like, I've unlocked enough of one skill tree to get corrosive damage on Amara's active skill. Stuff like that. You can do little modifiers too, in addition to your normal stuff like kill skills, which give you stacks, normal active skills, passives. Amara's pretty fun. She's a siren, so on the one hand, you can tell she's all about like area damage. Like she has one skill that is you take less splash damage, you do more splash damage. And all about elemental effects, added effects. But also she's got a lot of melee abilities because that's her. She's always talking about how cool her biceps are. By the way, that's another thing that is really improved in this game. In 3 is your Vault Hunter talks a lot more.
Oh yeah, it was actually like I haven't played myself, but I have been watching other people. When people talk to you, you respond.
And you respond in character for you.
Yeah.
So like you get a lot better feel for your character in this, which is cool. But yeah, so that's part of what Amara does. But also, as a Siren, she has one of the reasons why I've always liked Siren is they've got some of the best solo/tanking abilities. So one of Amara's first tier skills is just automatic health regen.
Oh wow!
And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a little bit of health regen, and you can buy her like max HP up. So it's like it's pretty interesting and diverse. I almost feel at times there's like a little too many skills, but I suppose if you cap out a skill cap, you can just respec, put them where you need to. It's very interesting. So it's pretty fun. I think some of the stuff is a little like it's obviously nitpicky, but some of it's not quite perfect, but it's still a lot of fun. Sliding is great. A lot of the controls. It's a good entry in the series. And I'll be eager to continue slowly working through it as I have beaten other stuff. But I felt comfortable, like, giving it a pause. Because Borderlands is one of those games that, when you play it a lot, one of two things happens. Either you get super invested and you're like, I will not put this down, I will keep playing this forever. Or you get, immediately burned out and you're like, oh man, I have to kill another 50 million screaming bandit dudes? Ooh, I need a vacay. So I think cycling that game is good. It's probably a little bit less of a drag if you have friends, but I usually play my first run solo, and I don't think anybody I know who's gonna get 3 is gonna be on PS4 anytime soon.
Yeah,
though who knows? Sony is talking about they're open to crossplay now, so
yeah. Speaking of PS4, new PlayStation Plus games have been announced. We're getting Neo. No, I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. and from Team Ninja, and we're also getting Outlast 2, which I am completely disregarding. But
No, I will also ignore that.
But Neo sounds good, and this also comes at an interesting time when the Neo 2 beta has dropped.
Yeah,
for
I think
us.
Sony knows what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. But good time to pick it up.
Yeah, I won't download it because I'm already fighting with my space, but I'll probably add it to library. Neo,
Yeah.
that is, not Outlast 2. Well, we could go to the bottom of my list, and that means that's a perfect segue into me talking about SOMA.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about SOMA.
I keep telling people there's a reason why I don't like these games, and Omega got to experience this.
No, I did. I don't usually like these games either, but I was curious to see what it would be like, because SOMA has a lot of themes that are cool, and I like them.
Yeah, no, the philosophy and themes are excellent.
But unfortunately, it is the Amnesia people, and it's like I said, I think I said this in an off-mic discussion with you. I'm not sure, like, where the pressure is. Like, is it they feel they can only make that game because that's the only game they know how to make, or they don't want to disenfranchise their fans who already exist so that they can keep market share? But the Amnesia elements of SOMA feel really tacked on and are really, really goddamn annoying. So I did a second stream of SOMA on Halloween. It was a spooky stream. We went for like 4 hours. The game did not crash.
Oh yeah.
I almost crashed a couple of times in real life from dealing with this bullshit. But anyway. So I don't know what I'm going to do with SOMA, and I need you, the audience, to tell me, because as Lucky likes to say, there's no point in streaming without an audience. So I could just switch SOMA over to safe mode and replay the whole game in my own time, beat it, and talk about it on What's Up. I could do that first thing and then get back to the point where I was, and then stream the rest of it in safe mode so you don't have to worry about me dying over and over again, which would make me less concerned about the game, because it's got that problem. It's got that problem of like, ooh, spooky monster puzzles, isn't this horrifying? I'm like, no, this is not horrifying. This is just frustrating. I understand the puzzle. I understand how to beat the puzzle, but because there's a stupid AI RNG element, and you're trying to, like, freak my shit out, I can't just solve the puzzle. I have to, like, go through all this bullshit where you're trying to raise tension and make me feel afraid, but I'm just like, I'm not afraid of Screamy Tim. I'm just really wish I hadn't dropped that goddamn stun baton and I could just club him over the head. And get out of here. But, I don't know, Simon's a bit of a baby. About that, anyway. Simon's character is great, but yeah.
So, just a reminder, SOMA was made by the Name Amnesia team, who also made the Penumbra series, which is a very old series, which I have actually beaten. And interesting enough, in the very first Penumbra game, you could actually fight back. You found a pickaxe. And it was usually a bad idea to try and fight something, but if you were smart enough, you could do it. Like, I remember I got attacked by dogs one time, and I literally jumped on a crate where they couldn't jump me, and I just clubbed them overhead from the top of the crate until they died. And that's fucking, like, that is a bit more tense.
Like, I wish that was in SOMA. Like, if I'd kept the stun baton as a tool, like, getting it out and having to, like, poke enemies away before they can bite me would be a thing. Yeah. And maybe it doesn't kill them, it just stops them for a little bit, but it's like, the whole invincible monster, weak human stick is really annoying, especially considering, like we said, my buoyancy is negative. I walk on the seafloor. Like, I'm covered in an armored diving suit. Now, I get that there's, like, spooky brain goo mindfuckery going on, but still, it's like, eh.
Like, personally, like, what I would have liked is you keep the stun baton, but there's a gimmick to use it. Like, you have to, like, stop and charge it.
Right, you have to charge it. Or, God forbid, survival horror. You only have so many charges, like, say, a Resident Evil game or something. That I could work with. Because I would totally stealth most of the time, and then, oh shit, there's a guy on me, I gotta zap him. You know? Like, there's a lot of ways you can do this sort of thing. We talked about this, for instance, because Alien Isolation is survival horror. You have limited tools, but you have a lot of tools, and the xenomorph is almost but not completely invincible. You can do stuff to, like, distract it, scare it off. But if you just, like, pull out your gun and blast him, he just shrugs them off. Like, fuck you, and then you get 8. Which, Lucky, you said you find personally more scary, and I'm like, that is more scary and much more engaging, because you get to actively try and problem solve. The only problem solving in SOMA, with monsters anyway, is pathfinding. Because the monsters have awful vision ranges, and just... I don't know. It's a real pain in the ass. So, like, you were ghosting hard throughout SOMA, so you, I think, missed this on the stream.
Yeah.
But you were there for the first puzzle I did, where you have to go in and reset the mainframe router, which is really dumb, because...
Like, real talk, like, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I'm gonna tell you, because you're talking about bad pathfinding. Like, when you were in that server room, I was completely lost the entire fucking time.
Oh no, the server room was horrible. I literally got lost a couple times. That's how I got bit so much. Like, I eventually figured out, okay, the only clear way back is on the left side when you enter. I have to stick to that side, otherwise I will get into a dead end and die.
Yeah.
Which sucks, because that's not a maze, that's a cheap trick. But in that zone, you're in a dark maze room. There's an enemy, we called him Screamy Tim, because he screams a lot. He has no arms and no eyes, but he seems audio-based. So if you make a sound, he'll fucking freak out and run your ass down. Now, you can throw shit to distract him, but also, there's all this random crap covering the floor, which you can trip into and cause a noise too. Which I think is how he found me like the first couple times. Oh, and the whole point of this is you're resetting the mainframe router, which you have to do by flipping a switch, waiting like 5 seconds, and then you have to flip the switch back to manually confirm. And I'm like, what dog shit is this? Who designed this?
I don't know, like, that's like something that happens. Like, anytime you change display sense, like, hey, you sure you want to keep these settings? If not, we're going to change it back in like 14 seconds.
I guess that's true enough. That's a little bit, but still, it's like,
yeah,
wow.
But no, it's still...
There
like,
are
right now,
a lot of these dumb horror movie / game tropes where, like, the infrastructure is just slightly more annoying than normal so that you have to deal with the horror bullshit. Yeah. But yeah, so that was bad. Oh, hey, guess what happens in the game like 2 hours later? Now, after what was actually a freaky mandatory scene where you think you're gonna escape, but then another enemy, like, runs down a set of stairs and just grabs you, and you think it's over, but it's not. There's just a actually really trippy sequence in there where you dream of your apartment again, and you're like, ooh, this is wrong. Then you're trapped in the dark, overgrown areas with 3 or 4 Screamy Tims in a row in confined areas, but all of their rooms are ring-shaped, so you just play Ring Around the fucking Rosie with them for 5 minutes until you can slip by them. Oh, and they don't have arms, but they can still open doors. Don't ask me how that works. I don't know. Maybe WoW opens them for him. But yeah, it was just like, this isn't scary. I already solved this puzzle. This is just annoying because you're making me wait 5 minutes, and I can't blitz past this because they'll bite me in the dick twice and I'll die. Or whatever the fuck happens when they hit me. You get like, you like red out a little, like it hurts, but also maybe not? I don't know. Like, I can't tell if they're physically attacking you or if just your mind is freaking out and degrading.
Like, honestly, like, I think it's the latter. I think your brain is, because again, the transhumanism themes is super on fucking point here of, you know, what is a human and, you know, what constitutes a human. And one of the things is you realize, I don't know at what point in the game, is that you're not actually, you know, I guess, see, here's the crime. You're not the same Simon that...
Right, you're a copy of Simon, and eventually it comes out you're a legacy scan.
Yeah. And basically, the way that Kathy, who is both helpful and not helpful...
Yeah. Kathy Kathy is herself a mind scan, and she has a very laser focus on what her problem is.
Yeah. But Kathy basically says that what your brain is doing is it's basically superimposing your senses onto your body so it doesn't freak the fuck out. And I'm pretty sure that's
function, which is an actual thing I think that a lot of transhuman deals with, and I think fits our neurological models. Like your brain adapts to what its situation is. Humans are remarkably plastic, I believe is the term. So you will adapt to situations automatically. Your brain has a lot of buffer room. Okay, it can figure out a lot of stuff. It's like your senses grow to compensate for each other if you lose one.
And I think what it is if you get too close to one of the other things, you kind of recognize that is kind of what you are, and your brain can't handle that.
That, or because they're part of some weird hive mind bullshit, it, like, encroaches on your own sense of self, and then you just blah, 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 down.
Because I look at that, and I totally can't, it's like, they can't actually attack me. The best they can do is fucking headbutt me.
Yeah. Now, one of those guys, I called him Chokey, because he just wanders around making a noise all the time. He has arms, and he's the one who actually, like, sprints down a set of stairs, grabs you by the neck, and, like, throws you into a wall of freaky alien goop in the scripted sequence. So, like, he can do something. Those robots in the first one, the very first thing, they were in the first stream, they could probably, like, punch you. God knows what Asthma Jim can do. He just teleports like a hacker. That fucker.
I would name that guy Heimlich.
But yeah, so, like, you're right. The Screamy Tims, for instance, they just yell really loud and, like, it hurts your brain.
Yeah. Shit. where was I going with this?
I don't know. You were talking about how they can't actually hurt you, but clearly they're doing something else.
That's basically all the point I was.
And then you get healed by blue anuses.
Well, yeah, it was because, like, I don't know the actual game, but like, I'm pretty sure, like, as they say, the WoW is...
They talk about structure gel, and I think you missed it, but there was a report on a guy who died who was, Crazy Pants from, Delta, came in. He was chock full of too much structure gel and ripped out his eyes. But the structure gel is described as a ferrofluid. That's why it's black. So it's a magnetic fluid that can change adjustment, and it binds objects together.
Well, it makes sense that it would heal you, because I'm pretty sure putting your hand in anuses, like, tops you up on structure gel, because you're, like,
I think that's what it does, because when Kathy does the full-body scan of you, she's like, oh, so you're a corpse with a computer brain and she called it an oculens, but that means I think you've got, like, an eye-mounted flashlight built, rammed into your skull, and everything is glued together with structure gel.
Yeah.
Which is a hella awkward conversation.
Especially because your corpse is female, and Kathy might have been sweet on your body.
Yeah, she was like, hey, no, Imogen was my friend. We were, whatever, shut up. I'm like, Kathy, am I running around to the corpse of your gay crush?
Gay panic.
You can tell me, it's okay, I'm a computer now.
Well, yeah, because basically what it seems like is you're in this, like, heavy dive suit with a corpse in it, and basically structure gel's filling in the gaps, and you got, like, a computer, like, shoved in your head.
Mind scan is running on a computer state that is plugged into this thing.
Yeah. So you are, and they actually talk about this, like,
people whose mind scans are put into just robots go nuts. They are either crazy, or they are non-functional because they refuse to accept that they're a robot now. They, like, keep interacting with you like they're normal people. Just bio bodies who are dead are basically forcibly hooked into life support and can't do anything. Yeah. They just go crazy and are shambling remnants. Kathy doesn't comment on it because she's not aware, but when you go into the basement at the end of the part I was on stream, there's just racks and racks of bald humans just sitting plugged into walls breathing. I'm pretty sure they're experiencing, like, a lucid dream or something, because that's what What's-His-Face talked about in his spooky, but yeah. There's a lot of themes and stuff I want to explore, but goddamn, the horror game parts are so bullshit. Like, the lights keep going out for no reason, and it's like, this doesn't change anything other than it makes it harder for me to see. I don't know. The game has a lot of good points, but it has a lot of just trappings of the genre, which I'm just like, these just... I don't know. I feel like they get in the way, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure they wanted to keep it away from just being a bare-bone walking simulator of, walk around, solve the puzzle, pick up lore. But honestly, I
think for the themes of the game, that would be just fine. Because there are some actual... When you're not dealing with horror bullshit, you're dealing with just classic adventure game type puzzles, and they work.
Yeah, you gotta switch the die, you gotta turn the thing. Like, I think the most surprising moment is when I was actually able to see, that I would actually call the most spooky, is when Kathy's all like, oh, the dung bat. You finally get the dung back, you're slowly wandering it, you turn a fucking dial, and the dung bat comes alive and freaks the fuck out.
And plunges into the abyss.
Yeah, and I was like, shit!
Yeah, that's an actual moment where you're like, I figured something would go wrong because I could see clearly on the camera it was covered in WoW gel, but at the same time, it's like, you're not expecting it to do that.
Yeah, I was expecting, something to pop out, or when I get in it to, like, have that scripted scene where something fucking punches me. I wasn't expecting the actual dung bag, which we were supposed to be using to get into the abyss, to actually have a fucking brain on board, and it's a really, really not like Kathy.
No, it's annoyed and freaks out and drops.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are genuine puzzles and surprises, and there's creepy stuff in it without having to go, like I said, whole hog amnesia, but it does. So like I said, I don't know, you the audience, you tell me what you'd like, because I don't really enjoy those parts of it. I would love to just turn it into safe mode and be like, these guys can bite me, but they can't kill me, so I can just keep going solving the puzzle.
Also, the game over screen kind of annoyed me, because it seemed just to be that token creepypasta shit.
Yeah, I think they're related, because...
Well, I think it's like...
in a later room after the scanning and stuff, you can find a conference room where they're showing a lot of images like that on the projector.
Oh.
So I think they're thematically related to what's going on, but yeah, they're just generic creepy images that flash in front of you Metal Gear style and then game over.
Yeah, but if I might put in my 2 cents for opinion, I think it'd be best to just start over from safe mode and blitz to where you were last in stream and just continue from there.
Yeah, so you guys let me know what you want me to do. Like, if you're interested in watching that or not, audience. Because I can do that. It's not... Especially if I don't have to worry about dying, I could probably solve a lot of these puzzles a lot faster and just keep going. Just truck on through.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about the fucking simulspace puzzle. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, I've solved that already. I like the VR puzzle, but also I didn't because, like we said, Kathy... The game design is very minimalist, which, on the one hand, helps because it's like, you don't know what the fuck any of this stuff is. On the other hand, you don't know what any of the fuck this stuff is, so the game could be a little bit better at telling you stuff. Like, so, you need to get a security cipher. You're gonna pop open somebody's brain in VR to see if they know it and get them to tell it to you. If you try this with the guy normally you find, because you have to do a puzzle where you have to figure out which guy's the right guy to boot up. That's okay. That's pretty simple logic. You can figure out who that is pretty basically. So, in fact, you probably don't even have to do what I did and double back to check the employee roster. If you think about it hard enough at the spot you're in. But anyway, after that, he doesn't trust you because of reasons. So you have to figure out how to get him to trust you. Nothing works. The dialogue plays all the same. And so to advance, you have to study him a little. You have to Sherlock him. But for you to realize that's a thing you have to do, you have to manually wander back into the
dorm room
area, which you may or may not have wandered into already, depending on what you're exploring. Because I don't remember there being like any signage or anything. You know, to that. Oh, the brain scan lab is up here. Like, I don't remember seeing that on the sign. And so when you happen to walk by his room, Kathy is like, oh shit, we could check his room. I'll unlock it. Like, I think it would be much more helpful if she, back in her lab, said, okay, if we want to find out about this guy, the dorms are on this level. Go check him. Go see if his room's there. I can unlock it if it is. That would be a lot more productive.
Yeah, the game is very hands-off in guiding you.
Which I think is part of the quote-unquote horror experience, because they're playing with that, like, unknown silence feel. Because that's the thing, Kathy always fucks off when you're doing a horror segment. Except for the one time where you plug her into the escape ship, and she's like, okay, let's leave. Oh shit, we're locked down. The ship doesn't think there's an emergency, so we can't launch. You gotta go out there and figure out what's wrong and make the computer respond. And you're like, dude, there are fucking monsters out there, okay? And she's like, well, yeah, whatever, get over it. Get over it, nerd. And I'm like, okay, I'll get over it. I didn't really like Asthma Jim. He was frustrating because of his teleportation hacks and just... But he was in a sense easier because I don't think he ever sped up like Screamy Tim, so you literally just had to sprint away from him.
Well, he was like, Asthma Jim, like, since he can go through walls, he didn't have to worry about pathfinding so much.
Yeah.
So...
But he was slow.
Yeah, he was slow, but sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried hiding in a room, and he just appeared inside it.
It teleports behind you.
Yeah, by the way, we called him Asthma Jim because he breathed. He was in like a diving suit and breathed really hard the whole time. Enjoy that, ASMR listeners. But yeah, so that's one of the few times where Kathy deals with it. Also, I think because Kathy is in a non-physical body, she's a lot more blasé about this shit. Because she gets knocked the fuck over by an Asthma Jim type robot when you first meet her, and she's just like, oh, this is inconvenient, I can't move. Like, so I don't know. Kathy's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering when we're gonna meet a second Kathy or something, because I feel like that's coming. That we're gonna run into the later fork of her who's existed longer, because that's the thing.
And she's gonna be all like, no, that Kathy of me is wrong, we shouldn't have never done this.
Or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Because future Kathy is a lot more traumatized. Past Kathy is, like, bright and hopeful because she was the very first mind scan they did. So she's like, my process works. This is great. We're going to launch the Ark. And then you find out later all this bullshit with other stuff, like her coworkers killing themselves to preserve continuity of consciousness.
It's not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm saying, that's not how that works. That said, we did joke about this in the stream. They really should have figured out how to cut and paste as opposed to just Control-C.
Yeah, no, because that's the way the way they thought it was worked is like
Well, basically, yeah. They think if you kill yourself right after you scan, you upload, you will awaken in the arc, and your continuity will move.
It's like, no, it's not.
No,
There's just going to be, there's a copy of you. There is Lucky in the chair, and then there's Lucky parentheses 1 in the fucking server.
Now, if you did kill yourself, yes, that is true. There will only be one instance of you running, but you would not magically become that instance. That's a thing that a lot of people have to grapple with, this kind of existentialism. And so some people would be freaked out. Me, I'm just like, yeah, those are all me's. Like, I'd prefer if you'd build it so I can keep continuity of consciousness, but the suicide method is not how you do that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it's like, it's not copy-paste, it's cut-paste.
Yeah. Which is how Eclipse Phase is usually designed to run, so people don't have this freak-out bullshit, for instance. When you download an ego out of any brain, you physically transfer it over to the next one, so, like, people don't freak out about there being two me's. There's only one you, if possible.
Like, I don't know, like, I guess this is one of the things we're talking about, but if there was another me, if I found out that I am a copy of another person, I don't think I'd particularly be freaked out. I feel like I'd be all like, first off, why? And two, why? It's like, why is there a need for another, like, a copy? That's like, because, like, I don't know. It's like, we are the sum of our experiences, and even if my experiences were a copy, they still fucking happen. And my experiences from here on out will be my own, as said copy. Therefore, I'll become something different. So, like, I don't know. This is just because I've never fully understood the complications of particularly copying yourself or cloning yourself.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. I've come to the, existential conclusion. I am my information, so the information is always me.
Another good thing about Simon is Simon seems to take this pretty well. He seems a little confused at first, but once he starts figuring out the answers, he's like, all right, so I'm a brain scan. I actually died like a few months after.
Now he still has some weird hang-ups, like, I wonder what the real Simon would think. And Kathy's like, you're still the real Simon, dude. And he's like, no, but the alive human one, he's the real one. But even so, considering this takes place over, like, literally a few hours, Simon's adjusting very well.
And I can kind of see this point, because technically he's not a human anymore. He's a half-corpse, half-robot filled with black magical gel, like, several hundred years in the future. Mm-hmm. He is no longer in the situation that standard Simon would be in.
Right. Like, so he is still a Simon, and he's okay with that, but he's like, this isn't exactly what normal Simon was expecting when he got his brain scanned.
Yeah. Like, again, he is Simon, but he is still Simon, but he is no longer that Simon.
Right. And he still thinks of that Simon as the quote-unquote real Simon. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like that. Like, Simon...
I don't know, I don't think he ever really refers to himself as a fake Simon.
No, it's true. He doesn't refer to himself as a fake, but he does explicitly... He said that after we solved the VR puzzle, he was like, I wonder what the real Simon would think. So yeah, he had some thoughts about that. Also, by the way, the VR puzzle was the section that required me to go downstairs and reset the mainframe, and thus that bullshit. But yeah, there's a lot of, there's a lot of up and down and stuff, and interesting concepts in Soma, but it's also got some really annoying stuff. So we'll see, like I said. I think I'll probably end up doing safe mode playthrough either way, because I want to see where the story goes. It's just like, God, I don't want to deal with this horseshit. Because to me, that's all it is. It's like, this doesn't freak me out, this doesn't scare me. Like, some of the stuff that are sudden is like, oh shit, whoops. Like, I get a little surprise, classic slasher movie style, thrillers and stuff, but I'm not really like, oh god, is he looking this way? It's like, oh, is that fucker still here? Like, that's just me in my life, and I understand that obviously I'm not usually the target demographic for this horror stuff, but, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's because they're doing classic horror game tropes, because, like, Amnesia's like a weird medieval themed game, right? Like, it's historic and stuff. He asks the room, possibly with a dead Lucky. Gasp, he was dead all along. Yeah, so I asked you if you remembered. Amnesia's kind of like a medieval-y type setting, right?
Yeah, I think it is like full on medieval, if I remember correctly.
And what was Descent like? Do you remember?
Penumbra was modern day, but it was like in rural countrysides and cold places, mines, tunnels.
Yeah, so it sounds kind of like that it made sense to them, especially after coming off Amnesia, to do this, this style of, like, because there is a lot of mystery and mystique in those games, and there's not stuff you can do. But for like a sci-fi type horror, I just feel like this isn't really the right theme. Like, But yeah, so we're on SOMA. All right, we spent a lot of time talking about SOMA.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't ghost earlier.
Mm-hmm. Though, I don't know exactly why. Axe is constantly challenging me to do something SOMA-themed in Eclipse Phase. So I'm gonna.
Axe, goddamn it.
I've got some ideas, but,
Axe
well,
has a
you guys will
one-track
deal
mind.
with that bullshit later, but that's because I actually hate the underwater, so...
Yeah. I do find it hilarious. Axe really does have a one-track mind. Like, as soon as we did some Eclipse Phase stuff, on this next stream, he was making nothing but Eclipse Phase references.
And also,
yeah,
but also, it is the typical Axe mind. We can say this because Axe is not here, but you'll listen later. Hi, Axe. Don't worry, we're still gaming with you. But, just that I feel the constant Axism of, like, I just want to see somebody do this better. I feel like other people could do this better. I'm like, I don't know about that. That's a very big assumption.
Yeah.
That, like, to constantly, I don't know. That's just how Axe works, I think. But I don't have that drive to constantly unpack everything and see how somebody else would improve it. Now, sometimes I see something and I'm like, I could do my own version of this. I'm not ever thinking of it as like a better version. I'm like, I would do this differently to suit my needs, so I can make my own version of it. I've done that with Eclipse Phase a lot. But yeah, I gotta go look up some stuff about Europa. I'm kicking around a couple of Eclipse Phase scenarios I need to work on. So hopefully I can get some time to do that during the week. But I didn't get the time this week because I was playing games, so let's see.
Games, 4 days.
Next on my list, Battlefront 2.
Oh, I got nothing on this.
Well, you played some of the older Battlefront games, the original ones?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So this will probably be a much more general discussion about these types of games, because I know you're not as hardcore as I am, but you like the Star Wars.
Yeah.
We have RP'd the Star Wars a lot.
I played like several like Star Wars games, but I've never played any Star Wars FPS.
Yeah. So, but you have played some FPSs with a single player element, so I think you're gonna have some valued opinions on some of this stuff. So,
okay.
I have played through all the story stuff. That includes the original campaign and then the extra time skip DLC they did at the end, Project Resurrection. I played a little bit of multiplayer, didn't have a lot of time to do that before the Outer Worlds came, and I was like, I went on this. We'll talk more about that later. So, overall, the shortest way I can phrase this is, I'm glad I played $20 for this game. I would not want to have played $60 for this game, but $20 is a good price point. It's like the original Battlefront. It's got a good undercoat. There is still not enough stuff there. Like, it's kind of strange, right? Because obviously they make some good steps. Some stuff is really good, and then other stuff is just like, wow, this isn't enough. Like, I noticed this right away. On the one hand, I was like, oh, buying the deluxe edition gave me all these free boxes, and I can I got to unlock like a couple of different guns for free and some other stuff, some abilities. And I'm like, this is cool. I go to check out customize, and I'm like, ooh, never mind. This is not great. There's like 4 guns for each class, even though the game has been out for like a couple years. So there's like every faction has their default gun, and then you got like 4 universal options they share for different customization. And they have like a couple different mods, which are pretty basic. So weapon variety seems really slim. You do get access to some fun stuff like shotguns, like, big repeating blaster cannons, but those are all phrased in still the same arcadey kind of, ooh, activate this time-limited ability, and then it's on cooldown, or ooh, you can only fire so many shots before this ability goes on cooldown, and you can use it again. And I'm just like, that's still not it, fam. You get customizable appearances in multiplayer, like heroes have a couple, but nobody except clones has a lot. Like, with Rebels, you can pick, like, 3 other alien faces or a human face. Droids have, like, a couple different color schemes. Stormtroopers have fucking nothing. I'm like, there's absolutely no cosmetic mods. I'm like, that's wrong. That's completely wrong, kids. Like, there are at least a couple different unit markings you could do here. Like, I don't know if it's, like, if Stormtroopers are, like, customized to the map, so, like, if you play on Hoth, you get Snowtroopers by default. If you were playing on, like, a Tatooine map, you get Sand Troopers. Whatever. That could be okay, but I would prefer if I could set those specifically, so maybe I could, like, always be a Sand Trooper or something. So it's like, the game feels a little slim for what it wants, what it's trying to do, and that reflects in gameplay. So, like when you're playing the campaign, you can't pick up guns that dead guys drop. You have to, like, pick it up from a rack where they've put it for you, or change your loadout at, like, a predisposed loadout box. That second part's not too crazy, but it's like that it adds to that arcadey feel. Like, you have various limited abilities and loadouts. Also, they're constantly changing your loadout on you between missions, which I hate. I'm like, I really wish you wouldn't. Like, sometimes you're like, okay, this is the ability I want for this, but other times you're like, no, give me scan instead of shield. I want to see where all these guys are. And yeah, it's kind of just, it's still got a lot of that arcadey feel, and I'm just like, I don't know why. That's the thing I'll say overall before I even get into talking about, like, plot and characters and stuff, is just overall game design. I don't know who's softballing this game. Like, EA DICE, I played a lot of Battlefield 3, okay? And I know enough about Battlefield 1, because I looked into it a lot, looking up for cool ideas from Ages of War, that I'm like, those games had a lot of little variety in shit you could do. And they did a lot of different little things, which it doesn't seem like Battlefront 2 does. And that was my complaint about the first Battlefront. It was very much an arcadey, like, funsy shooter, and I'm like, even if the production value is great, this is not worth $60. Luckily, I bought it as a bundle with my PS4, so, you know. But, like, I'm like, I've played serious FPS games that I know you guys can make. Why are you not making those games? So is it EA or DICE that's holding them back? Is Disney or Lucasfilm holding them back from, like, getting too in-depth with the mechanics? I don't know, but somebody in the process is keeping this game from being more in-depth, and that's hurting it. It's still way too shallow. Like, because even the original, like, obviously some amount of customization is a little bit better than the actual Battlefront 2, the original one, for PS2 and stuff. Like, yes, there you had, like, the 6 classes, but you didn't have a lot of variety. Like, every class just had a gun type. It was very old-school Battlefield style. It was very obviously a Battlefield ripoff at the time. But, like, the second one had a pretty in-depth campaign where you played many multiple missions, which could be quite sizable over a time period, and you dealt with the whole rise and fall of the 501st thing from Geonosis to the Death Star. So you covered a lot of time and did a lot of different stuff. And it also had, like, more complex game modes like Galactic Conquest, where you could, like, conquer the whole galaxy map worth of maps, you know? So you'd play all the maps and stuff. And it felt like it had more depth. This just feels like they're trying to ape that feeling, but also not necessarily go any deeper. And I'm like, no, dude, you're DICE. Just literally make Battlefield but Star Wars. Like, do all the gadgety stuff. I've played Star Wars RPGs. There's a lot of stuff you are allowed to print and talk about, okay? Like, there's all kinds of gun mods, there's all kinds of gun models, there's all kinds of shit here you could do that you're not doing, and I want to know who's not letting you do that. Like, are you like, we don't want to do that because we need to make Battlefield 5 that nobody bought? I tells it like it is, kids. Like, is EA telling you not to do that because they don't need to focus on shit? I don't think Disney or LFL is holding them back, because here's the thing. There's more original content in fucking mobile games like Star Wars Commander than there is in Battlefront 2. Like, that's the thing.
That's pretty bad.
There's almost nothing original to Battlefront 2. There's a couple of planets, which are mostly nondescript. Like, only one of them I think is really interesting and essential. All the other couple are just kind of bleh.
Bleh.
There's, as far as I can tell, not really any new weapon designs except for maybe a couple of variants. Like the clones, for instance, I think have a wholly original, like, LMG variant of their normal rifle, which is okay, I guess. That's interesting, but not really diverse. It's still, we took the basic model of this prop and then we upgunned it a little, you know? Mm-hmm. They have another long blaster that is basically, well, this is just basically a Barrett 50 cal that's had some greebles added on. So that's not adventurous. It's cool, I like it, but it's not adventurous. There's, like, no new ships or vehicles that I've seen, you know, and, like, yeah, I love what they did with the Corvus, your ship. That's a really neat ship design. That was made by Lucasfilm in cooperation with Fantasy Flight Games for miniatures games. Like, they needed a ship design for a certain size, so they cooperated with Lucasfilm to make a new prop, and Battlefront 2 uses it. So not even that is original. And I'm like, just like, you guys are not trying very hard to add to this universe. Those maps I was talking about, you know why they're not original? It's because you don't do anything original. Like, that's one of the sad things. The campaign is very truncated. you go into a mission, there's almost no cutscenes in between mission. There's like one setup where you're like, go here, do this. And then you're like, okay, we're doing the mission to go here and do this. I'm getting a little too close to my microphone. Let me push that down from my face a little. But like, there's not a lot of character growth in between maps. And then almost all the maps where you do anything that actually matters is you're taking part in another big battle in the Star Wars universe. You're on the ground at Endor. You're fighting over Naboo in an event that was covered in the Star Wars comics. You're part of, the big finale normally is you're part of the Battle of Jakku. The Resurrection DLC is you're fighting the First Order leading up to the end of The Force Awakens. You get to see Starkiller Base explode at the end. Spoilers. So I'm just like, you did not add enough to the universe with this. And I'm just like I said, I don't know who held back, but somebody held back, and that's not what you wanted. And I'm glad that I think First Order is going to change that. Like, I feel like you're going to be interacting with technically new spaces. You're going to see stuff that's not technically covered in the canon yet.
I'm trying to remember, when does First Order take place?
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order takes place between 3 and 4. It's basically in a period now covered by stuff like Rebels and Rogue One.
Yeah, see, that's an excellent time to all right, new shit.
Whereas also, you would think Battlefront 2 would be a perfect place for new shit because your second mission is Endor. The Empire falls, and then you're like, oh shit, oh fuck. And then 5 seconds later, you're a rebel, but we'll talk about that in a second. I actually don't hate Aiden's character, it's just, like I said, the story writing is so compressed. It's bad. It moves way too fast. But then, in what should be the most interesting time that they haven't elaborated on yet, between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, you do basically nothing that matters. It's just, I don't know, it's, like I said, so, the story writing is compacted. I don't want to, I know some people are upset that they didn't get their true blue Imperial storyline, because that's kind of where the marketing is going, but Aiden does flip, halfway through the campaign. That's not a spoiler at this point, I think, but...
I don't know, but I can also say I particularly didn't care either.
No. And honestly, you don't really care. That's the problem. So, Aiden Versio, the player character, and I mean, yeah, okay, we're progressive. She's a major character who is a villain at start, and she is a woman of color. Her actress is actually Indian, I think. And her performance is great. I like Aiden a lot. She's got a lot of that... Aiden does a lot of crazy, dangerous stuff. She's a perfect player character because she is, professional and to the point, but she is about the mission, and she will do some dumb, crazy shit to get that done. At one point in the final battle over Jakku, you're like, I'm gonna go on the Star Destroyer because I gotta fight my dad. That's a big thing, is she's got some stuff with her dad that's never explained. Thanks, game.
Thanks.
But that's the driving conflict of the whole second half of the game, is you're dealing with your dad and stuff. So she, in her X-Wing, flies at his Star Destroyer, gets shot down, manages to eject and crash on the surface, and you fight across the outer hull of the Star Destroyer to get inside. Which I'm like, Aiden, that's fucking nuts. You're crazy. I love it. Right? It works for her. But also, goddamn, the story writing. Aiden is... As far as I can tell, Aiden is supposed to be kind of almost like a Tyke Bomb kind of character. She mentions she was trained on a core Imperial world that is super loyal. She was trained in advanced military tactics. She's a special agent of Inferno Squad, so she's special ops military and stuff. Even above normal Stormtrooper Corps. And she's supposed to be super loyal and effective. Her starting mission is her doing a solo infiltration of an entire Rebel cruiser just to do some cleanup work and delete a transmission,
Mm-hmm.
So, that sets up how hardcore her character is. And then, 5 seconds in, after it's revealed that Emperor Palpatine's contingency plan, should he ever die, is burn it all to the ground to sort out the wheat from the chaff. And when I assume what they're going for now that we've seen some stuff about Rise of Skywalker, the meta context is, and when I come back, everybody will be super weak and I can take over again. That's not really explained in Battlefront 2, though. So a lot of people are like, man, Operation Cinder is dumb. And it's kind of dumb, but it was also designed by an evil space wizard who shoots lightning from his hands, so... I think too many people take Papa Palps a little too seriously. The man built 2 giant planet-killing space stations. Practicality is clearly not what he's after, So that's okay. But one of the worlds that's being targeted for the purge of Project Cinder is Aiden's homeworld, which is supposed to be super loyalist, and she's like, all these civilians are gonna fucking die. This is terrible. I can't let this happen. And then, because she pauses to think about her orders and not execute them for like 5 minutes, her dad, who is even more ultra-hardcore loyalist, is like, traitor, die! And all the Imperial troops on the planet know that you're a traitor, despite the fact that there was no cutscene explaining this. You just leave your third squad member, who is the super crazy loyal guy, who probably had a crush on Aiden, but was just really bad about it because he's that guy. Hask is... I like Hask as a villain because he is the crazy Imperial guy. He's just yelling about loyalty and betrayal and stuff.
Traitor!
Yeah. You betrayed me, Aiden. I'm gonna destroy everything you love. Oh shit, I died like a punk bitch and fell down a bottomless pit. That's at the end of Resurrection. It takes a while. You actually do get a Starfighter duel with him that apparently he survives, but it was cool before that, where you had like this big iconic duel on over Jakku. But anyway, they reveal he's alive at the end, so he can shoot Del. R.I.P. Del. I like Del. He's okay. Not as good as my boy Shriv, but we'll talk about the good points in a second. But yeah, so basically, like I said, Aiden has this one crisis of consciousness and is banded as a traitor forever, and she's like, well, we gotta figure out what to do. I guess we'll join the Alliance so we can stop Project Cinder, because that's still blowing up Imperial civilians, and we're not cool about that, I guess, apparently. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like you needed to backfill some character details here, like, explain why Aiden is so super loyal up to this point. Was she trained and raised to defend order and protect civilians? Like, is that how her trainers, her handlers phrased her black bag stuff? Because clearly she's a black budget operative. Like, she invades rebel cruisers and like murders dudes, right? That's very clearly what her job description is. So it's like, why do you balk at some civilians? So they should have phrased that a little bit better. Other than that, like I said, I actually like her character. I don't hate her. It's just the plot moves her character way too fast, and I'm like, what? Why? What's this weird baggage with your dad? Is it because it's like a Disney movie and your mom's mysteriously dead or something? Like I think it would have been better if it came out that like Aiden was so against the rebellion and calls them such dirty traitors and stuff, because they're really mad dogging the rebellion early on. Like, because her mom was killed in something, but then they reveal, like, oh, it was a bullshit false flag, just like Operation Cinder. Holy shit. That would, like, explain a flip, right? But no, it's just, blah, 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 rebellions have hope, and the Empire's about revenge, or some shit. Have hope, not revenge. I don't know. It's, like I said, like everything, it's too compact. But the mission variety is okay. It's so slim and fast, and like I said, it moves too fast. That said, the character writing is pretty good. And I'm glad my boy Shriv survives the entire game. Lucky, I'm gonna link you a video and all the patrons a little something about my boy Shriv. So you watch this real quick. You get a taste of my boy Shriv. He is the best character in this game, and I love him. And I'm a little bit reminded of you remember how our pal Red played a Duros in our one AOR campaign. Shriv is a little in that vein because he's a little snarky, but I like Shriv a lot. So he's good, and he survives the whole campaign. He has some of the best one-liners, like Del Miko, who is the nice soft member of Inferno Squad.
Oh,
he's crushing on Aiden very clearly the whole time. Now I will say this about Del: great fashion sense, great jackets. Luckily, their kid inherits that. Good job, Zay. But like on the Battle of Jakku. Aiden tells him to stay and command the ship, because there's a little bit of, like, the Corvus is, like, really important to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's their ship, it's like their home. So she's like, alright, Del, you take the ship, me and Shriv are gonna jump in the X-Wings and blow some shit up. And so he's like, okay, Aiden, make sure you come back. And she's like, make sure I got a ship to come back to, and, like, they're flirting. But Shriv, and you'll see the clip in this, is like, oh, Shriv, I hope you come back too. And he's like, oh, thank you, Del. Your friendship means everything to me. And I'm like, God damn, I love Shriv. Shriv is great. He's, he's talking in that clip you can see there, the very first clip, he's talking to Lando, and Lando's like, so you think they're bad guys, but you brought them on board anyway? He's like, you told me to take more risks. What could be riskier? Shriv is just so great. So that's one of the sad things that I'm like, you've proven to me you can write characters and character interaction great. But for some of it, you didn't. You just dogpiled through it, and I don't know why. Like, honestly, what this game needs is to just be a for-real FPS game. Like, you know, make it so there's more weapon variety, so you actually have a reason to experiment with some stuff. Don't phrase everything in the weird, dumb power-up system, you know, where it's like, oh, grenades are a power-up on a cooldown, so you've got as many as you need, you just gotta wait for them and use them tactically, and, like, drop all that arcadey shit. The cooldown method of using guns, there's not, like, an ammo system, it's like, they overheat and then you have to cool them down, but you can manually cool them down by pressing the reload button kind of thing. It's kind of like a Mass Effect-y kind of thing. The first one. Like, that's okay. That's reasonably sci-fi. That works. But still, like, certain stuff clearly has limited ammo in some form, and maybe you should track that. Like, my grenade launcher being, like, a 3-shot, then it cools down is kind of weird. Also, those, like, power weapons you can't start with in your loadout, you have to just pick them up on the map when the game decides to give them to you. I don't know, it's like, I just want it to be, like, a for-real option, and in multiplayer, which I know, Lucky, you don't care about as much, but in that, you should have more customization. It should be, like, you should be able to, like, pick different skins and looks for your starfighters, for all your soldier types, like, just cut them loose, people can go good, let there be real weapon mods and stuff. I don't know, it's just... It's good, it's not $60 good, and I feel disappointed because it could have been a lot deeper, and it wasn't.
Speaking about amazing first-person shooter experiences, apparently the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, its story is goddamn amazing.
Yeah, people are reporting that it's one of the best for single player stories the series has had in years, which is saying something.
Yeah, some people are saying like maybe the only one that was better was probably the single player campaign of Titanfall 2, which is, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard to fucking beat.
No, that's a great experience. So like that's phenomenal. I don't know when I'm gonna get Modern Warfare. I'll get around to it, but like
again, it's like we're in this time like we're like, this fall and this fucking spring is murder on our fucking walls.
Yeah, I've got about a week to play the Outer Worlds before Death Stranding comes out.
Yeah. So, as I said, I haven't played, like, Modern Warfare is on my list of gets, but, like, reading reviews on it, people are like, nah, it's good shit, bro, and I'm like, God fucking damn it, why?
Yeah, it's supposed to have a really good together story.
Mm-hmm.
And just, that's great if they have a full campaign, and I bet they have all the Call of Duty type weapon stuff. You know, you can pick stuff up dead guys, you can swap around, you could do some fun shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Alright, so what's next? You done with Battlefront?
Yeah, I think so. If you don't have anything to add about, like, what you really like out of FPS games.
Well, as I said, like, honestly, like, there's two types of FPS I like. I like run and gun FPS, which... basically is the ones where you can kill guys real fucking quick, keep moving, and you basically maintain a constant state of action. Or I like camping kind of FPS where you have to
shooters like the first Fear.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that Battlefront 2 is trying to be that first thing, but it's like I said, it's just a little too soft. It's a little too arcadey, a little too gamey that you don't quite feel like you can just keep going because it's like you have to like, oh shit, I'd love to throw a grenade here, but I can only throw one grenade and then I have to wait 5 seconds.
Yeah,
but it's certainly not high speed, low drag like the first Fear is.
Oh, like, and Fear 3 was also kind of like fun in its own way as it, it tried to stick to that more era because, like, I remember I could like literally run across, blast someone in the face with a shotgun, slow down time, grab their gun as it's fucking following, switch to it, and blast another guy in the face, turn off my time dilation, and keep going. Like,
yeah, that's some serious fast-paced action. Oh, yeah. That does remind me, actually. You did remind me. There's one more thing I want to talk about Battlefront 2, because that did actually remind me of something, because you remind me of, like, what was fast-paced about it? Oh, yeah. So, what was fast-paced was playing segments as heroes. That's cool. Except, it's not. Because you had to shoehorn in every goddamn hero in the game. They gave me less time with the so-called main characters so they could jam in a time to play as every major Star Wars hero. And I'm like, this isn't great. Like, there's a one map where you play as Luke. I don't think that would work if you played as anybody other than Luke, because just the way it's phrased. But still, that one's okay. But they shoehorn you have to play as Leia on Theed, and they deliberately move you away from Iden because she's in the same battle, to give you the experience of playing Princess Leia, because That's a big selling point, I guess, is playing the Star Wars heroes.
I guess.
And then, after that, she sends you to go find Han Solo. So, hey, guess what? As opposed to playing Aiden trekking around on Takodana to find Han Solo, because I guess we have to explain why he talks to Maz Kanata in Force Awakens now, but also she didn't seem like she liked him so much after that mission in Battlefront 2, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. You kind of conflicted with yourself. But no, you play as Han, and you have to wander around and talk to people, and then get your informant out while fighting waves and waves of stormtroopers, and then you get up in the Millennium Falcon and blow up some ships, while Inferno Squad shows, and I was just like, you're trying really too hard to sell me on the hero mechanic. You shouldn't. You should have made these maps, Aiden maps, and like actually explored characters more. But that is a good thing about it, is when you're in these heroes or some of these special classes you can unlock, you do get a little bit of that faster paced action. Like if you're a Globat wielder, like when you play that Luke map, you are fucking stormtroopers up at a fast pace. You are, moving through these guys, blocking shots, force pushing, rushing. Like that part is really tight and has a good fast-paced feel. I just think it distracted a little from the story.
Hang on, I'm laughing at this guy who owned the fucking prototype Bulin.
That is pretty funny. Also, Axe is heckling me about having to make a news desk. I don't think I do, because doesn't the 8 million downloads not start until the 7th? What's so urgent that I have to make a video right now?
This is why we have the thing, inhale, Axe.
Yeah.
But,
Shrug, he doesn't even know. But yeah, so that's I think what I got with Battlefront 2 overall.
Alright. Let's see here. I really don't...
Let's see. Let me check how long
I think I can
go for an hour.
There, I'm not sure. But, what's next on your list?
Well, what's next on my list is Outer Worlds, but before I talk about that, I think I want to take a quick break.
Alright.
So we're at an hour, so now's a good pause point.
I'm paused.
We're on pause, because we're going to talk about the Outer Worlds. I put a decent amount of time into that yesterday. I actually got it Thursday, but I told people on the SOMA stream, this is the sacrifice I make for you guys. I haven't even put my disc in. I'm going to play SOMA. So I tried to play it while watching you stream Starbound, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, but after a while, I just realized I was just zoning out and not paying attention to you at all to focus on the Outer Worlds. So I'm like,
from what I understand, Outer Worlds has a lot of good writing in it. So
yes, so I'm still in basically the first town. I haven't even completed the first real quest objective, but that's how these games work. I have collected bounties for fingers. I have found some guy pills, and I helped a guy collect on his fucking debts. And I am no closer to fixing my ship. Like, that's welcome to Western first-person RPGs. So, the Outer Worlds is really good. Some people have said the combat's a little wonky, and I kind of agree. Like, it kind of ping-pongs between, like, at the moment, these guys stood no chance, to why are these guys killing me? And, I don't know, it's kind of, it's kind of still in an awkward space for me there. Also, it's got the Fallout style, your weapons and armor are constantly degrading thing, which is a little annoying.
I don't mind those things.
You can use generic parts to fix them, but it feels like you get into one fight and then I'm like, oh, all my shit needs to be fixed. Why? I didn't even get hit, did I? So it's like, yeah, that's a little frustrating to just constantly be worrying about that, because it is a space game. Like, unless you play on Supernova, you're not playing with, like, full-blown survival, like water and thirst type stuff, which I'm not. I'm playing on normal for my first experience, because I just want to see what it's like,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, the character creator's pretty fun. It's not as robust as some, but it's got some fun options. You basically pick your core stats by you don't do a point value per se, but you set them to be like, you start at average in all of them, and then you tick one up to be high, and then you tick up two, it's like very high. So, I did what I usually do for these type of games. I made sure to put my sneak 'em and shoot 'em skills decently up, and also my talking skills are the most up. So I'm tech, talky, and shooty. And you can do the same. You can highlight two skills to give them a big boost. And the way this is phrased is, you're a colonist on a colony ship that went to the Outer Worlds, but your ship was blown off course and in, like, low power, so, because the board are scum, if you like giant corporations, this game is not for you. But who does? We're real hardline anti-corporatism. We'll talk about some of those fun themes a little bit later, but basically, because it was a it was more cost-effective to just leave you in space and pretend you were lost than to try and unfreeze people and probably have them die, and thus be a legal liability. They just leave you floating there. So a scientist rescues your pod and uses up all of his chemical supplies to revive you from cryosleep safely.
Huh.
And he's, looking at the colonist register as you're building your character. So, I picked guns, for instance, and he's like, a gunslinger, that'll be useful. And then I picked tech as my second skill group, and he's like, this one might actually be a real scientist. And I'm like, this is neat. I like this.
Oh, okay.
So you go through all this, and then you pick your aptitude, which is what your job description on the colony would have been, which is hilarious.
Oh?
Because you can be, janitorial staff, you could be a toss-ball mascot, and all these give you, slight differences. I think being janitorial gives you, a slight corrosion resistance. Being a safety tester gives you slight impact resistance. Some of them give you, +1 to a skill. So I picked junior medical technician, which has really influenced how I've played my character so far immediately. But yeah, there's all this snarky commentary about what your incredibly low-end, working-class job would have been had you made it to the colony kind of thing. So, yeah, that's really fun. You get to do your character design. I'm not playing on, a PS4 Pro or anything, but the game is goddamn pretty. There's a lot of work put into those faces and their facial animations. It's really good. I like it a lot, that. But everything has that slight Art Deco pop sci-fi kind of feel. There's a lot of vibrant colors, there's a lot of interesting smooth lines and stuff. But yeah, so basically, this guy revives you, because he liked your skill set, I guess, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He tells you that if you want to save all the other colonists on the ship, the Hope is the ship you were assigned to, you have to get him more chemicals, but he can't do it because he is currently wanted by the board for a very large bounty. Because he's a rogue science guy. Mm-hmm. So he shoots you out of his asteroid base in an escape pod down to the surface of a planet where you're waiting for a smuggler. Unfortunately, the smuggler was an idiot. He stood directly under the beacon. Your escape pod crushed him, killing him instantly. And I'm like, this is the tone this game has set. Perfect. So you get through a tutorial area. You find a ship. The ship has an AI who is legally only allowed to recognize the captain, Captain Alex Hawthorne, and is like, so if you want to get out of here, you're Captain Alex Hawthorne, and you can fight it, or you can just be like, yeah, I guess I'm Captain Alex Hawthorne. She prints you a new idea. This is great. So this is kind of Fallout New Vegas style, where you have thresholds to use certain skills, and if you use them, you get a little EXP bonus. So the game hands you a fake ID, and immediately lets you lie to everybody that you're Captain Alex Hawthorne, as opposed to the real name you input at the start of the game. So you can basically just lie to everybody and farm a little bit of EXP. It's hilarious. Yeah, the game has that tone down perfectly. So
I wonder what happens if you actually name your character Alex Hawthorne, though.
I don't know. It's probably not that smart. And also, I don't think you can, because you only got 16.
God damn it!
16 characters for your first name. But yeah, so I don't know. They might have put a snarky thing in there for if you name yourself Alex. But yeah, so what you do is then you go to Edgewater. Well, first off, in the tutorial area, you encounter some guards from Edgewater. They work for a brand called Spacer's Choice. You've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice. Yes, all of these corporate wage slaves say the slogan constantly. They really sell you hard on how fucking dystopian this shit is immediately. You run into an injured guy in a cave, and because I had medicine procced, I was like, here, let me fix your bleeding. And he's like, oh, thanks, but don't tell anybody you did that. We're not allowed to accept assistance from people outside the Spacer's Choice family. And I'm just like, ooh. This is like you not having insurance. It's really interesting and fun. You get to trick the guard who is squatting at the ship you need to go to. You can choose a different social options. One of them is like, well, I guess I'm writing a bad customer service review. I didn't pick that one. I was just was persuading. I talked to her sickly sweet oh, you guys aren't, your Spacer's Choice guards aren't afraid of a little marauders, are you? Because, hey, guess what? It's a Western RPG. There are bandits. They're called marauders. They're space bandits. They apparently kill and eat people. Like all bandits. I don't know.
Of course they do.
But yeah, so there's that problem. But to get your power regulator to fix your ship, because it's busted, because of course it is, you go into a corporate town of Edgewater, a Spacer's Choice community, and it is real bad in there. So they're all suffering from the quote-unquote plague, which, by the way, according to my medical skills, sounds a lot like the flu. So that's kind of freaky that these guys are like back to a point where they're so isolated from the greater human society, they're getting rolled over by the fucking flu. But medicine is merit-based, so if you don't pull your weight at work, you don't get your meds, and you die. The first character you run to from this town is the... I don't remember his exact job title. It's a really fancy way to say gravedigger. So he digs the graves and manages the grave sites. And he... well, hey, guess what? You have to pay your grave fees to get buried here.
Ugh.
And he gives you your first side quest, which is, hey, there's 4 people who haven't paid their grave fees, so can you collect this money for me? Which I did. I figured I'm a freelancer. And honestly, you don't really have to strong-arm anybody. Like, you can play it nice. Like, most people just give them to you, or have a little story behind it, but you can figure out some stuff. But it really lets you get a feel for this town, because you have to talk to a lot of different NPCs. So, they run a cannery for salt tuna, which is apparently some kind of, like, I think it's an imported tuna species they brought with them, because it's way too normal-ass tuna to be anything else. But they operate a cannery in town. And you read some logs that they're like trying to figure out how to make the cannery more cost effective. So, because there's lots of dead people and lots of abandoned buildings outside the walls. They also apparently have a deserter problem. Because, hey, guess what? The corporation owns you. My first companion, for instance, who you get way later, but you get her by starting the quest, mentions that she talks to her dad, and she's like, yeah, so my mom was only in town for a couple months, but apparently the corporate rule, at least with her section, because it sounds like she was maybe like gene fixed or something, because she was like super smart to like solve problems, but she had a weird contract that any child is born to you belongs to the station you're at the time of conception. So, because she was born in this backwater town, her kid had to stay there, and she had to move on to her other corporate jobs. So that's real fun.
Oh man.
There's drama in the town because the receptionist at the cannery committed suicide, which if he actually committed suicide means the town would have to pay a penalty because he damaged company property. But it turns out he didn't. He just overdosed on his antibacterial meds, which has psychosis as a known side effect, and thus he was just stupid and not legally responsible as opposed to suicidal. But yeah, it's real fucking dystopian immediately, and I'm just like, whoo boy, not holding anything back this game.
Nope.
But yeah, so that's the themes you kind of find yourself in, and it, starts presenting you the typical moral quandaries, like, are you going to toe the corporate bottom line? Are you going to, like, full out rebel? Like I said, me picking, like, tech stuff and science stuff and having a high medicine, I think has really shaped my character. Because that was the job I picked for her anyway, is junior medical tech, which gave me, like, +1 medicine. So I'm like, yeah, I'm playing this character as, like, I was trained as a doctor, so, like, somebody's in need, I'm gonna, perform some triage, I'm gonna give them some healing. But also I'm good at guns, so if somebody's shooting at me, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Combat medic!
So, yeah. And that's just kind of shaping my story so far. I'm compassionate, but I'm not an idiot. Like, I don't necessarily buy into the corporate bullshit. I'm clearly a little jaded from probably seeing some people die horribly. But yeah, so it's real fun. Weapon selection is pretty neat so far. There's a bunch of little different weapons. They have like a little bit of a retro future feel. I've got like a sniper type rifle. It's a hunting rifle, so it's a scoped bolt action. There's a sawed-off shotgun. You get a light pistol first, and for instance, you can get melee stuff. I'm not spec'd for that. You can get some energy weapons, like I found a little plasma rifle. But also there's weapon mods and stuff, which I love, and armor mods. Like, you can attach a backpack to get more carrying space. You can attach mods to improve your skills while wearing certain armors, etc. One of the things I like is you can change the damage type of basically any weapon with a mod. So, like, I can literally attach a mod to my sniper rifle so it goes from being, like, impact damage of bullets to, like, shock damage or plasma damage. Or I can take my plasma gun and change it to do shock damage instead. So, like, that's fun. If you're like, oh, I have a lot of weapons that do this damage type already, but I can change it to something else. That's really cool. I haven't gotten too deep into the variety, but it seems like there's a decent variety of guns. And you can find a lot of fun stuff early on. Like, if you start exploring and killing marauders for bounties and stuff, you can usually find, like, a light machine gun, a grenade launcher, some assault rifles pretty easy. I haven't really stuck with those because the game has 3 ammo pools, light, heavy, and energy.
Oh, okay.
So there's no, like, differentiation. Like, a sawed-off shotgun uses light ammo, and the pistol uses light ammo. Don't ask me how that works. But it keeps your ammo pool simplified, which is okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say this. On the one hand, I can be a gun nerd and appreciate all the technical aspects. On the other hand, you're running a game. So, like, if you need to abstract, I don't care.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun little consumables, which I like how they handle this. So, like in Fallout, you can pick up, like, all different kinds of foods and stuff.
Yeah.
And drinks. The way Outer Worlds handles this is each thing has a type. So, like, sliced bread, pre-sliced bread is a thing you can pick up, but so are, like, noodles, or they call it tarmac and cheese. Contains no tarmac and no real cheese. But those are all carbs. So if you eat carbs, you improve your natural health regen for a period of time. If you eat meats, your base health goes up. If you drink caffeine or caffeinated drinks, your mind skills go up a little bit. If you drink sugary drinks, which, here's a fun thing, 99% water counts as a sugary drink, so I'm like, what's the 1%? But those give you +1 body skills for a short duration, that kind of stuff. If you drink alcohol, your charm skills go up, but afterwards you get a hangover and your skills go down, so I'm like, no. Same with, like, nicotine. You can also find, like, cigarettes or nicotine patches and stuff. So, they have different fluff types, like there's different brands of cigarette, different brands of alcohol and stuff, which all look different, but they've codified all the rules so they all act the same, which I love. I love that kind of abstraction. So I'm like, okay, so I want carbs, and I want meats. I don't want alcohol or nicotine, because those have, like, those give you ups, but then they give you downs when you're off. So I'm like, no, I don't like that kind of gameplay. That's why I avoid those kinds of things, both in real life and in fiction. Because it's like, okay, on the one hand, I appreciate that I could, like, charm a thing of space rum or space whiskey and get more charming, but then I have to deal with the hangover, which is, I'm like, eh. Same with nicotine. Like, if your nicotine's up, your gun spread goes down and your gun skills get better, which is actually a thing. Nicotine improves your fine motor controls. But when you're off your nicotine, when you're craving, you get shakier. Your spread goes up even worse than it would if it was gone. So it's like, I don't want to do that trade-off shit. Just give me the low-impact stuff, like I said. Carbs for health regen, meats for a little extra health. You have this thing called your emergency inhaler. You have a literal drug inhaler. When you want to press you have a quick button to press it, you huff it.
Okay.
Now, this is where you put all your combat drugs in. So, like, the default is adrenal, which just gives you a quick burst of quick health regen. Like, it's very fast, but it's short duration. That's like your stim pack equivalent. But you can also, at least if you have a high enough medicine, which I do, it's pretty basic. You have to be, like, over 20 to get the first perk. But you unlock extra slots in there, so you can put more drugs and stuff in there. So you can be like, okay, my adrenal is in there, but also my detox drug is in there. So if I get poisoned, I can take a huff, I'll heal the damage, and remove the poison effect.
That's neat.
I could put my neurostabilizer and be like, now I get a sniper effect, so, like, my guns have a higher critical chance and I heal, kind of stuff. You can even take the heals out to give yourself a quick cocktail of multiple combat boosters and stuff. So that's pretty fun customization they've got there. Other than that, it's got all the usual stuff. You can pick locks, you can hack computers. You have, like, quest items, you have generic parts and mods and things. It's got a carry limit, but I haven't hit that yet. It's got a perk system. Every 2 levels you get a new perk. So far, the first tier of perks are pretty boring and normal, but that's okay. Like, I took the one where I get faster, I get more carry capacity, and I get more tactical time slow. Because that's the other thing. You don't have VATS, but you do have, basically, Point Man's bullet time. You have a little bar that goes down and slows down time, and you can upgrade it to be longer.
If I remember correctly, that was actually an effect of, like, your cryogenic sleep or something.
Yeah, they actually, the tooltip is, as a result of complications of your cryogenic sleep and being revived, you have gained the ability to enter tactical time slow. So yeah, you've got your, like, pseudo-VATS thing, and if you upgrade your perception and guns enough, it'll, like, display what'll happen if you shoot that hit location, for instance. You can shoot enemies in the ass. It does stagger them. There is an animation for that. I have shot a marauder in the butt before, and he, like, claps a hand to his ass and goes, ah! And is, like, stunned for a second. It does do the Fallout style. If you, like, kill somebody from a long way off with a headshot, it'll do, like, the critical cutaway shot, as you can see their head explode and stuff. So, it's pretty fun. I'm eager to go play it more after we finish recording this. Because it is just what you want from those Western-style first-person shooters. It is like, it's the guys who made Fallout New Vegas, and they have refined their system. They know what the fuck they're doing with gameplay, right? And the writing is goddamn. Like, I immediately feel for these horribly oppressed dystopian corporate people. I'm like, this fucking sucks. I will never listen to any dirty corpos. I'm going to go about my business as a freelancer, you know? Because that's the thing. I think some people equate anti-capitalism with anti-corporatism. I don't know if the game is full-blown anti-capitalist, because you still need money to get stuff done, you know? But it is definitely, hey, dude, big corporations suck. They are just engines of oppression, and you should not like or trust them. And I'm like, no, that scans. That's pretty accurate to my life. I do not necessarily trust any large corporation. Because that's the thing, right? The corporations founded these outer colonies, and, like, the intro movie is like the propaganda film. It's like, go to the outer worlds, to Halcyon. You'll find a new life. Just take a short trip to Cryoscape and enjoy a short term of mandatory labor. And I'm like, It's like super interesting to play this at the same time we're gearing up to do Eclipse Phase, because I'm like, this is the Planetary Consortium. This is Hypercorp's.
Oh, yeah.
Like, these people are indentured. They never leave their corporate lifestyle, and it sucks. Like I said, I'm not kidding. These people will literally have to give you the company slogan when you speak to them, and it's just horrifying. Yeah. So now I'm undertaking my first big story mission, which is where I left off last night. You recruit your first companion, who is named Parvati, actually. That's funny. But she's like she's a tech head kind of engineer character. Like, she literally improves your hacking and engineering skills while she's with you. Which is another fun thing with your companions. They give you a little companion menu, so you can change their companion inventory, and you can look at what their perks do and stuff.
Oh, neat.
So, like, and your D-pad is all your companion's perk controls. So, like, she has an ability to, like, slam her. She has an energy hammer, a shock hammer, and she can do an attack to, like, slam it in the ground and do an AoE burst on command at the spot you tire it and stuff like that. That's fun. You can talk to your companions about things. The game will point out, it gives you a little icon if they have something important to talk about, which she does when you pick her up. Basically, you go to the head of the town who's, like, grilling her about some technical problem, and, like, you're like, yo, dude, I need a power regulator. He's like, well, I can't give you our power regulator, but there's another one in an abandoned part of town. It'll just mean you shut off the power to all these dirty deserters out there. Because there's, like, squatter communities outside of the walls of town. Mm-hmm. And so Parvati is like, hey, whoa, hold up. Maybe we should talk to the town vicar. Yes, the town has a vicar. It's got that very weird sci-fi western retro feel. Like, everything is like an Old West, company town, but with, like, plasma guns and spacesuits and shit. It's really interesting. I love the aesthetic. But she's like, maybe we should talk to the vicar, because I have spiritual concerns about just turning the power off to these people. I don't know if this is going to go as smooth as Mr. Corpo Man thinks it is. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we can talk to him. Because I kind of, like, through the dialogue trees, kind of, like, cynicaled my way through the job. I'm just like, yeah, you need me to shut off the power. Okay, I need the power regulator, so I'm going to go talk to these people, but I don't buy your bullshit about them.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've played my character, which is like, I need stuff because I have, it's the classic cryo problem. I have literally been revived from a cold sleep. I own literally nothing at this point.
Yeah.
Except a ship which doesn't fly, so I need you guys to solve my problems, but don't think I'm here for your religion, which is another thing. This is really freaky. They have a religion which is called Sciencism. And you talk to the vicar and he says stuff like, hard work improves the soul. And I'm just like, oh, you guys have made corporate wage slave atheism a literal religion. This is terrifying.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
I'm like, this is real bad. Okay. But yeah, so that's the quest I've left to go do after I fucked around, like I said, stealing drugs from marauders and killing for bounties and stuff. I met this one guy who's, like, really paranoid about the robot revolution. So he's like, welcome to the robot militia, son. Go kill a robot. I'm like, okay, cool. I only joined the robot militia so I could make you pay me money so I could pay your gravesite fees, but whatever, dude. You'll give me more shit. So yeah, like I said, it's a lot of super fun. I'm sure you'll pick it up sometime when you have money or you're not drowning in games anyway. But yeah, it's really fun. Like I said, I'm excited to get back to it, and I have like a week to play it before Stranding comes out.
Yep. We're on the countdown now. 6 days.
Yeah, reviews have started procking.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to talk about Death Stranding a bit? Or reviews? I don't know.
Yeah, that's next in my list, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, Death Stranding, November 1st, embargo seems to end for Death Stranding stuff.
Oh yeah, they did their launch trailer. Reviews have been trickling in. And except for one particularly scathing review, which I keck at.
Oh, I just love that first line. That idiot said it without irony. Like his opinions might not be wrong, but that factual statement of like, this is going to serve as a watchword for for publishers to not give developers an unlimited budget for the sake of art. And I'm like, no, it's not, because even if the game was bad, it's going to sell a shitload of fucking copies, and Sony's going to light a cigar made of money. Like, that's the unfortunate thing that, and like, it doesn't matter if Death Stranding is bad because of the fanfare around it. It's going to sell phenomenally. The question is just going to be, are people going to still give Kojima creative capital after this? Well,
I've only read
you've read a lot more reviews than I have. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the two best reviews that I've seen probably from her are probably from Polygon and Kotaku, because they're really in depth. And I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the Polygon review. What they said is there's currently 2 Death Strandings that exist. One is the mythological game made by a mythological man, which holds an impossible dream of games transcending boundaries into art. And then there's the actually Death Stranding game. And I think that's actually fair.
No, it's like the same problem that No Man's Sky had. There's the game that you imagine and the game that it actually is. That said, I think my version of the game that I imagine has always been lowballed to close like the real thing, because I enjoy Kojima's games for what they are, but I also understand them, so my expectations are always, it's going to be another Kojima experience. I love those, but it's not going to like cure cancer or nothing.
Yeah. But what they say, what that actual game is still a fucking phenomenal experience. Like, I'm reading reviews, and it's like Kojima has literally put reviewers on the fucking therapy couch thinking about connections and relationships. And I'm all like, yeah, that's classic Kojima for you.
Yeah, and like, somebody had to. We constantly talk about how there's not enough therapy couches in video game plots, so like, it's great that he's there doing the stuff.
Yeah, they say the game is like this weird, self-aware, yet self-aware game. Like, I think one of like the lines is, "I'm going to give you a metaphor," and I'm just all like, "Wow,
subtle."
And the game's not like unashamed about it. It's literally a glorified walking simulator.
I've heard it described. I think this may have been paraphrasing the Kotaku review, or it might have been other. I've heard it phrased as No Man's Sky meets Metal Gear.
With co-op elements, because apparently that's the big thing, is like you have all this weight you have to carry, and you have to balance.
There's some hard ass physics simulation in there. It sounds
and you have to like balance your straps. Your shoes can get worn out. You can take damage, and then there's other weird shit like apparently because people are now trickling in with Death Stranding details. Apparently Sam is a guy who. I'm not trying to, he's a reparate, I think it's called, where he died, but he was able to come back. And because he was able to come back from whatever the Death Stranding was, all his bodily fluids are now, deadly to the, what do they call them? BTs, I think they called? They're beach something.
Yeah, we'll figure all that out when we actually get the game.
Yeah, so basically you have grenades that can fill up with your blood, piss, and fucking feces, and you can throw them at enemies.
Oh, so that's, like, people were really weirded out about the fact that you could, like, pee in the game and grow mushrooms. That's actually meaningful. God damn it, Kojima.
Yeah. No, apparently, like, when you go to rest stops, like, everything you use is recycled, because your body fluids are, like, one of the few things that can actually hurt, those enemies. So, another weird thing is, apparently Monster Energy is the only fucking drink, like, you know, not water drink to survive the fucking apocalypse, so it's everywhere. It's what you use to regain your stamina.
That makes sense. Kojima's always been about his product placement.
Yeah. What other weird things? Like I said, we're getting some weird celebrities in there. Like, recently, they showed a trailer where fucking Conan O'Brien.
Well, yeah. So Conan's got a remarkable web presence. So he was like, he went down to Kojima Productions to see what was up, and I don't know if it was scripted or not, but Kojima literally turns to him and says, "Hey, Conan, you want to be in the game?" And Conan's like, "Fuck yeah, I do." And then Conan's in the game, and he gives you an otter hat, which lets you swim.
Yep.
It's adorable. Oh my god, I love Kojima so much.
Yeah, so the game is, like, from what I understand, it's a weird, complex, beautiful fucking mess of a game, and from what I can see of most general reviews, like, I haven't read, like, review after review after review, but it is getting, like, pretty high reviews. There's a lot of them, like, I was looking at Metacritic. I think currently it's at an 84, because there's only, quote-unquote official credits allowed, and they're not letting user reviews in yet because the game's not actually out.
Right.
So, and I think it's got an 84. Plenty of 100s. Actually, let me pull it up right now. Let's see here. Metacritic. Death Stranding. It was number 3. Yep, it's at an 84 right now, with 62 positive reviews, 11 mixed, and 1 negative. That one See, here's the thing. I usually don't care about the negative reviews, but I was super curious about like this one negative review with these 62 other positive ones. I'm like, what is this person even saying? A lot of garbage.
Yeah, like I said, his opening statement was that like, clearly the implication was like this is way too artistic of a thing and it didn't work and so on and so forth. But I'm like,
oh my god, I want people like give the people like go feed this man ego. Go read the review. It's by Survivor, who gave Death Stranding a 35, and the opening the title is Death Stranding is an irredeemable piece of garbage that should be served as a warning to publishers that give developers carte blanche to create quote art.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure he's wrong. The publisher will not learn that lesson because they're going to make shitloads of money because, hey, guess what? Not only does it actually seem like a lot of people are giving it positive reviews, and so it's good, but also people were just interested in this hype machine anyway.
Yeah.
So I think Axe actually, to stop ragging on him, he had a good point in the comments because I'm sure he's been reading reviews, which is that Death Stranding will never be considered a bad game. It is just not a game for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's like honestly, like that's one of those things that I should be like, yeah, that's dumb. That's fucking common fucking sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, some people don't realize that. So that's a thing we should say. Like we had this discussion, I think, when we were talking about like accessibility for Sekiro, like easy mode for Sekiro. There's a difference between, first of all, there's a lot of stuff that got muddled up in that. Like there's a difference between handicap accessible and just squishy soft mode because that's not the style of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like the hard ass fast paced part of the game is not for everybody. And apparently, Fallen Order is going to be that baby mode Sekiro if you want that.
That's like that was Code Vein for me. Like,
yeah, and Code Vein was also a softer Soulsborne game.
Yeah, and then it's like I was like I like this, like, and because I'm not a fan of like particularly like Dark Souls. I was still interested enough in Code Vein. I'm like, all right, this is enough of my jam that I'll work through this. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's like Kojima. Like, Kojima games are a fucking experience,
yes,
alright?
And that's the thing. I've played a lot of Kojima, or witnessed them. Like,
yeah.
I have seen people play all the way through Snatcher, one of his older games. I have seen people play the earlier Metal Gears. I have played all the numbered Metal Gear Solids. I have played ZOE 1 and 2. Like, I know what this dude is about. I know what I'm getting into. So, that's honestly, when there's games like this, where I know what I'm getting, I know what I'm into, I don't bother reading reviews. Like, I just skimmed that, like, high level. Do people like Outer Worlds? Yes, it's great. I double checked the day I bought it. Is there any, like, weird technical problems? No. Okay, I'm sold. That's what I wanted. I want this game, and I'm playing it, and I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. I feel like I'm going to be the same about Death Stranding. I don't need to read any reviews. It's not a terrible garbage fire. It's not busted on tech. Okay, that's fine. That's all I need to know. Because I know what I'm getting. I read them in depth
because I wanted to justify my own values. I'm not going to lie.
Well, yeah, no. You read reviews as kind of like a self-editing tool, which I sometimes do. But also on the other hand, I'm like, fuck, man. There's a lot of reviews out there, so I don't necessarily.
Well, I do say this. I did like I pre-ordered Death Stranding like a week ago. I was like, no matter what these reviews say, I'm getting this fucking game.
Right. And sometimes I like to, if I know I'm getting it for sure, I like to avoid reviews because I'm just like, I don't want to do anything weird and like taint my opinion or anything. Or like get into any expectations. I really want to see this experience and be like, dear Kojima, blow my fucking mind already, dude.
Yeah, as I said, most of these reviews I sent, they're staying light on spoilers, so I'm thinking they do say a couple of them have said like apparently like the first like apparently it's gonna be like a 50-hour plus game.
Which I'm okay with. I don't have. That's the other thing about Outer Worlds. Apparently, it's shorter. Like there's replay value, which I really feel playing the character creator. I'm like, oh boy, there's some flexibility here. Like I could have gone all big meat and just like put all my points in fucking dodge, block, and melee, and like be that guy. It's got Fallout tier customization, right? So you can reiterate that story over and over again and try different options for quests. So. But overall, the main story apparently takes like 30 hours to blitz through, so I'm like, that's fine, that's cool, I can do that in a week. Then I can play Death Stranding for the rest of this month.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna be. But, like I said, so it's like, and, like I said, like, the big, like, overarching theme in this game seems to be connections. Connections with others, connections with people that aren't there, connections with you and what is to be considered a tool, connections with people who may have died. All
like they said,
connections.
there's actually like some Dark Souls style multiplayer elements where you can like where you died is communicated to other players, or other players can see where you have died, kind of thing, and like interact with each other.
Yeah. There's also like other things, like apparently like one of the big selling points is when you get in your game, you'll get into like a server region area that once you connected to the chiral network, which is the big thing that Sam's doing as he fucking Amazons his way across the fucking United States, is after you connect a region to the chiral network, you'll be able to see other players who's in the same server as you. Their fucking what's the word I want to use? I'm trying to think of a word of the equipment they use to get a fucking around the area to make it easier for them.
Oh, just whatever their gadgets were, their traversal stuff.
Their pathfinding.
Pathfinding tools.
Yeah. You'll be able to see that, and that means there's ladders, there's ropes, zip lines. Apparently you can actually build a fucking highway.
Nice.
You can build like Axe is saying, you can build like bridges and shelters. So it's like you can actually like build like a road somehow.
And I'm sure this is all the meta context to Kojima of like you cooperating and connecting and shit. I love it so much.
Yeah, and like other players can leave like notes of like where like enemies might be, where you can find hot springs, where you can find resources, You can actually deliver other people's packages for them because you can
nice.
a person.
Oh, so there's going to be a lot of touch but space hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kojima has clearly learned a lot from his world tour he did before he settled in to make Death Stranding.
Yeah, so like there's a lot because you can leave off you can leave packages for other people to play because like I said, because basically the entire fucking game is fucking fetch quests. Like it's fetch quests with combat in the middle somewhere. Like I said, there's the BTs, which are the beach things, and then you have like human terrorist organizations or kind of bandits. But
which they've shown in some of the trailers.
Yeah. But like as X is saying, killing people is a big no-no because killing people triggers the Death Stranding, which is people fucking explode, so you only have non-lethal weapons.
Interesting. That's okay. That's another thing that's like a Kojimaism. You've always been able to do that.
Yeah. So they kind of like enforce it, but at the same time, it's like I'm like really interested to see where this is going. Because like, as I said, I've never mind walking simulators, and it looks like they're giving you interesting gadgets because you get like exoskeletons, you get like a little.
You got your fucking hoverboard, your motorbike. No, this is the thing we know about Kojima, right? Like a lot of his games tend to be themed on something. That the really big tech in this, is the movement. So it's like all this moving stuff. Your job is to move around and deliver packages. So you have to figure out the best way to move them around. And I'm like, this is great. I love this. I want to just wander the fucking hills of America and drop off packages. I'll do that.
Yeah, and from what I understand, like, the vistas are fucking stunning and beautiful. Like, the character models are great. From what I understand, though, some of the voice acting, it can be a little hit or miss.
That's to be expected, I think. Like, well, I expect that this time Kojima actually got English people to do the English dub right away, because obviously he's been working here. As opposed to how previous games have handled it. He's also bringing in a lot of different people who may not be known as voice actors, so I could see some of that being a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, Troy Baker's in this game, I know he's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
But, like, I've never watched The Walking Dead. I don't really know how Norman Reedus is as an actor. I know people think he's a cool guy, I guess, but like...
Well, see, here's the thing. I only know Norman Reedus from the fucking Boondock Saints.
Right. Which is probably far from this. Yeah, so it's like, Is he good at voice acting? Because it's not 100% the same skill set. Though, I don't know. This is Kojima, so there's going to be a lot of performance capture.
Yeah, I don't know. Still. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, they did their own fucking, mocap, so...
I know that's how, speaking back to Battlefront 2, I know that they did that. Like, all the actors actually, like, worked together in the mocap room and did all the tactical posing and stuff.
Yeah.
That's increasingly common these days with big budget games.
And who knows, maybe they did the recording at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, they may have had to ADR some of that. I remember Nolan North was, now that I've watched all that series, because it's a little slow to watch people play Uncharted, especially when Nolan North doesn't know how to beat his own game. But he and Troy sit down and talk about the filming of the Uncharted series in their definitive playthrough a lot, where, like, they did do some active, like, mocap or prop reads for a lot of the scenes, but also they had to go back in and ADR a lot of the dialogue because, obviously, it's like shooting a movie, you know? You're out and about in, like, the mocap prop space. That's not necessarily the perfect audio environment to capture dialogue.
No. But... let's see, what are the interesting things about Death Stranding? Oh yeah, apparently another one of the product placements is Norman Reedus' show, Ride with, what was it, Ride with Norman? But Norman Reedus has his own show where he rides around bikes and stuff and cool, and apparently that's a product placement in the fucking game.
I mean, that makes sense, you do have a motorbike in-game.
Let's see, apparently what I know, Maud Mikkelsen's also fucking kills it, though.
He's pretty good at what he does.
Also prepare for plenty of apparently sexy Norman Reedus and Maud Mikkelsen shots. Apparently, that was something that I think someone did mention is apparently a lot of focus is giving on the male characters, especially of aspects of fatherhood, but aspects of relating to the mother side is kind of light, kind of brushed over. They're saying it's not. They're saying it's not like Metal Gear Solid 5 bad with, you know, fucking quiet, but you know it's still something that it's all
and honestly though I could see that because it is Kojima writing. Like honestly, it could. That's another thing that I like to think about sometimes. Like on the one, sometimes it's better not to take a swing because missing something would be worse than hitting it. You know, so like Kojima's Kojima. He's like a 50-year-old Japanese dude. He can talk about, like, manly man fatherhood stuff, I'm sure, and talk to people. I don't know if he has the frame to talk about motherhood stuff. Like, some of that is touched on, but that's also not really how, like, Metal Gear has been. Like, you know, it's all about your weird father relationship with Big Boss and Snake and stuff, whereas, while that is kind of a meaningful thing in, like, 4 with Ava's, like, call me mama, big mama, it's like, it's also not 100%.
Yeah.
Like, it's way too late in the story arc for Old Snake to care about that. He is like, I am a prematurely old man now, and my girlfriend's gonna marry the scrub lord who has diarrhea, so whatever, dude. Just trying to save the world before I dramatically commit suicide in this graveyard. I don't know. So yeah, it's that's another, it's a Kojima game. Like, that is one thing that I think could be a subjective opinion that people are going to have that could be a downturn about Death Stranding, is just that, like, I'm pretty sure Kojima's not going to do anything particularly woke, because, well, I don't know. On the one hand, he's usually got strong anti-violence messages and, like, anti-nuclear, so I'm sure there'll be some interesting things, but he doesn't really play the political correctness game either. His game writing is what his game writing is.
He has a specific story he wants to fucking tell, and he's not gonna let modern fucking...
Yeah, he's not going to change it just for, like, inclusiveness or whatever.
Yeah. But as I said, I did want to throw it out there, because I said there are definitely some people who would latch onto that, and maybe not like it. So, I was mentioning we were talking about my girlfriend is married. So I was like, clearly, Snake's girlfriend was Naomi, who tried to fucking kill him with a virus. Clearly.
Well, no, because she in 4, remember, she bangs Otacon.
When'd she bang Otacon?
In the helicopter that was inside their larger plane helicopter. You don't remember that scene?
No, I don't.
No, that totally happens, and then she leaves her weird suicide note and dies, and Otacon feels bad because yet another woman he liked died. Because Otacon is like, you might think Snake is bad. Otacon's fucking cursed, dude.
That's 3 girls.
Yeah, it's real bad. Anyway, that's okay. His dad was a piece of shit, so. You're an improvement, Otacon.
I totally forgot about that scene.
No, that happened.
Well, that's how long I've been since I played 4.
It has been a long time.
Damn, Snake, you just spawned, man.
Yeah.
No girls for you. They all go for it. I guess you got Mei Ling, maybe. I don't know.
Well, she's very cute. She looks good in that uniform.
Yeah, she do.
Also, you know, when she does show up in 4, she shows up with a whole fucking battleship.
She's about to wreck your shit.
What is it? Is it the Missouri?
I think it is.
I think it's one of those big battleships that was it was a museum ship beforehand, but they were like, it's all off the system, so it all still works, kids. Oh yeah, breaking out the museum piece, literally.
And this is how we get Azure Lane. So...
yeah, Death Stranding. It's a thing. It's gonna be cool.
It's a thing. We're totally gonna play it. I might stream it. I'll probably stream it. I don't know if the streams will stay up, but
yeah, we don't know how that's gonna be.
Yeah, I'll try it.
We'll make them.
Something. Yeah. So clearly that means you just need to fucking be there
or be square. I'm not gonna be there, but that's because I'll be literally playing Death Stranding on my own.
I'm hoping that they like. This is the one thing I really do hope. I really hope is that there will be a priority given to people who are on your friends list.
Yeah, I hope so.
Or maybe
a friends only mode.
Yeah, because that is like I don't particularly mind working with strangers, but I would and definitely enjoy being able to leave stupid messages for Omega in weird spots.
Mm-hmm.
That might even come up on stream. I don't know. That's the thing. Like I said, from Axe to what he's been told, friends list is a priority, so that's solid.
Yeah. All right, that's cool because we got some people on our friends lists.
Also, Axe, sometimes I wonder where are your sources? How much do you actually live in? Because you always have the scenes like, from what I heard, things. I'm all like,
I think Axe reads a lot.
Probably.
He seems informed about things. Anyway, yes. So that's Death Stranding. You got anything else to talk about that?
My body is ready.
Yeah,
that's a lie. My body is not ready, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna lock in my pre-order as soon as the. Well, I probably could do it before, and maybe I will if it takes too long over the weekend because no business days. But I'm waiting for our Patreon money to clear so I can get it all budgeted because I want to just.
Yeah, I don't
like to fuck around with money, you know.
Yeah, well, I pulled the trigger a little early because I didn't want to have a weird thing where you pre-order too late and it gets delayed. Yeah, so I'm like, no, do it now. Make sure, ship out my copy. Do it. I'm only getting the standard.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same. Like steelbooks and other extra stuff is cool, but I don't
think the special actually had a steelbook. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got the ultra special edition has like a crate.
Yeah, and I was like,
I don't know. Like if I had more space and I had a little bit more free money, I'd be like, that's okay. But most of the time, I'm just like, I don't even know where to put this shit. You know, like the loots, you know, tchotchkes and paperweights and stuff are a cool concept. It's just where am I going to put this shit? Other than on a shelf and nowhere. Ooh. I kind of got a little woozy for a second there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's good because couple of we'll talk about the friends list. More people have been adding me from the community have been adding me to their friends list because we're actually getting a Monster Hunter community going in our Discord, and I do enjoy the Monster Hunter. I've just been playing everything fucking else at the moment.
Oh, yeah, trust me, I know that feel. There's so much crap.
Let's see, yeah, because I got One Fat Panda now, Camper's in there, Axe has been on there, Omega has been locked in for quite a while.
I feel a little sad that none of these people have added me, even though I know I don't play Monster Hunter. I'm like, but what about your pal Omega? He exists. He has a very small friends list. You could fit in there easily, audience.
Alright, well, okay, well, let me go here.
I think I gave mine before. Of course you did. Well, that's true. I do feel left out. I'm like, oh, but I don't have any extra community members. But okay, so I think we've mostly talked out about Death Stranding. It's gonna be good. We're at 2 hours now. Unit Omega? Yeah, it's Unit Omega.
Yeah.
All one word.
There we go. Boom. Here comes the fucking friendship.
Cool. I'll add them later. Maybe we can hang out and stuff. All right, and they can spy on what games I'm playing.
Yeah.
But all right. So we've scratched off most games off my list, but I've got one last one I think I can talk about.
Okay.
Which is, hey, Lucky, did you remember Persona 5 Royal came out in Japan?
Oh, I know it came out, and I'm trying not to think about it, okay?
Yeah. But I wanted to discuss maybe some slight prelim about what people have been saying. I've managed to avoid any story spoilers, but I think it's fair for us to discuss this since we do have advanced warning and kind of like let people know how they feel about it and see how we feel about it. So the general gist that I got from some mentions on Spoiler Channel, no like plot spoilers, but people have said that the really new story stuff is all loaded into the back end of the game after Christmas, and like other than that, there's only mostly cosmetic changes to the core game until then.
Okay.
Though the dungeons do have some reworking to do some new stuff in them.
Okay.
Which to me, I am not shocked by this. Because I've played P3 Fez. I have not played, but I know that P4 Golden exists. So if you're familiar with how Atlas usually approaches these re-releases, remasters of these games, that is usually what happens. You get maybe an extra month or two. You get some extra social links, which may or may not appear earlier or later. Like in P3 Fez, you can't social link with Igus until like January.
Omega Alter 117, a friend request received. I'm gonna add this fucker.
Nice, thumbs up. Yeah, I don't know what to think about Scramble. We've talked about how our opinions. I'm cautiously following. I'll see how it turns out when it turns out. Because on the one hand, I mean, like, you know, P4 Arena was great. But yeah, so that's the general gist of the Royal is like, and obviously it only came out a couple days ago, so if anybody is actually to the end, they have been seriously speedrunning that fucking game. Like, they have been no breaks, so it's entirely possible they have missed details. But yeah, that seems to be the general gist is most of the plot stuff and the brand new stuff is later in the game, which I kind of, like I said, I kind of expected and predicted. But if you're out there in the audience and you're like, ooh, I don't know about paying $60 for that game right away, that's fair. That's a decision you have to make. I haven't played P5 in a while, and I probably won't play it again until the Royal comes out, so I'm okay. I'm okay with buying it and sinking another 100 hours into it again. That'll be, I think, worth it, and we'll have a broader understanding of what is new by then, but I'm not gonna, like I said, I don't want spoilers or anything, I just want to see what happens.
I want a patch notes list. Honestly.
Yeah, that's really what I want. I want like not a story list of fixes, but like, okay, what's the new gameplay stuff? You added a new area, obviously, which has new stuff in it. You know, what did you do? Did you reshuffle some personas? Like, it seems like dungeons will not be fundamentally different, but they'll be different enough that you can do new stuff in them. And all kinds of other shenanigans. So that's like, okay. I'm like I said, I could see how some people who maybe only jumped into Persona with Persona 5 could be like, oh, why didn't you just release this as DLC? But I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured that would be how it is. That's how they usually do these re-releases.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, the thing about DLC is, I don't really know how easy that would be, right? Like bolting on extra months to the game and stuff.
Well, it would be a little weird because you would basically have to cut out.
Yeah, you would have to edit out of the code the old ending stuff and repatch in a new ending stuff and like rebuild the dungeon assets. So I'm like, I don't actually know how easy that is with like PlayStation architecture to restructure it to be just like, it's just a download. And I know people are like concerned about the price point of games at times and stuff, but if it's the full Persona experience plus more again, that's still worth $60. That's still that whole game again, and like, just because you played it before doesn't mean that it's not like a product that's still got all those fucking hours again and then more shit, right? So it's like, I don't know. But we've given you fair warning. That's my opinion on it. Lucky, what do you think?
Like I said, like, I think my biggest concern right now, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, like, I'm probably gonna pick up, because, again, I'm looking at my trophies, I'm like, I want more platinum trophies, because that's one of the things I do like about our current, gaming culture, is that you can get quick, what's the word I want to think? Validation for your gameplay through, like, you know, your gamer score and trophy. And whenever I'm, like, in a slope or I don't have a game to fucking play at the moment, that's why I go back and I work through trophies. And, like, Persona 5 is one of the ones I'm like, I need to go back there, because there's only, like, 3 things I left I need to fucking do before I can platinum that trophy. I need to finish the Persona Compendium, I need to beat the fucking secret boss, and I need to, beat the fucking Reaper. I think that's, like, it. And I platinum the trophy. I was like, so I want to do that, but at the same time, I'm like, I kind of feel like it also depends mostly on, like, are these, like, extra activities, like, because that's one of the things, you see those extra activities, like, you know, playing pool and stuff, are those things, like, backed into, like, the earlier months, or, like...
And I expect they are, because, like, I don't know, I mean, they could make it so that you can only go to the new area after Christmas, but I don't know if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I know. So I'm just like, so others like if they add a whole bunch of stuff, like that's gonna completely redo like how I played the game because like here's the thing, like the first time you play through a Persona game, it's literally impossible to do like the most efficient run because you just literally do not
you
have
don't
the
have
time.
the stats, you don't have the time, you don't have the personas, right?
Yeah. So you have to basically beat it through once and then go back again. So the game has already set you on a path of replayability if you want the goodest shit. So, like I've already said, I think I've beaten Persona. I've beaten Persona 5, I think 3 times now. One time was just a bad ending because I wanted to get to the restart that much quicker.
Which is not uncommon. I did that at least once in Persona 4, where I was just like, I don't think I can beat the secret boss. I'm just gonna do the normal-ass ending and get out of here.
Yeah. So, like, I'm perfectly fine with playing again. I would like, I don't know, maybe I would like maybe get a stat bonus. I think the most I would want out of my, this is my wishful thinking, the most I would want out of P5 Royal is if you have standard Persona data on it, you maybe get a bonus.
Yeah, I haven't heard any commentary about that. Like,
yeah.
Not like obviously, especially if they like altered Persona data and stuff, I could see not like a full carryover, but I do believe they said there would be an old save bonus, so I hope it's good. Like,
I hope it's good. Like, maybe something to make it so I like, so maybe save over some of my stat points. Like, I don't need my Personas, but
or if they give you like a collection of some small accessories that are like, here's a big bonus to your stat growth, kind of stuff.
Yeah, things that just like so I can expedite my trip through a little bit quicker. That's like, I think that's all I really want is, it's like, you got me buying this game. Just let me get through it a little bit quicker so I can see all the new stuff that you have for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure like the major story beats aren't going to be particularly different.
No, and this might be a slight spoiler. I don't know how but it sounds like you can't really work on Kasumi until the new months.
Yeah, so that
but
means
on the other hand, like I said, I'm getting this data from people who are beating a Persona game in 2 days. So
I don't know.
Clearly, they are not stopping to explore every little nook and cranny, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like I don't know. It's a thing. We'll see more as data comes out. But for now, I'm like, okay, that sounds about right. That sounds about right for Persona Remaster. Hopefully, I mean, I've heard at least the new music is good. That's good. That's always a concern because I don't know why Atlus feels the need to like change all the music when they release a new version. I'll be honest. I know some people I think like Time to Make History. It's not as cool as Reach Out to the Truth. It's just not. I'm sorry. That is an objective fact. It's not really, but I can say it like that. So yeah, like, but music's supposed to be pretty good. Well, we will see as time goes on, right? Because we still don't know when Persona 5R is coming out in English. It's just sometime in 2020. I will probably get it day one, unless it happens to be like the same week as like Cyberpunk or FF7 Remaster, at which point I'll be like, I mean, I did already sink like 120 hours into Persona 5, so I could put that one on the back burner. Compared to other big name RPGs, you know.
Yeah, so as I said, spring of next year is gonna be a bad time for everyone. Yeah,
so spring next year and this fall right now are bad motherfucking times. Now, luckily we've said this year at least. December seems pretty clear. Nobody's really announced anything super groundbreaking in December itself, so we can maybe catch up on our backlog there. But for now, it's a tense month where I'm like literally having to go, okay, so I need to be Outer Worlds so I can play Death Stranding, and then I don't know if I'll buy Fallen Order right away, but I'll probably play it this month just to see what it's like, but the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I've put 3 Houses on hold until all the DLC comes out.
Which is in spring.
Yeah, all the DLC. Like, the third wave will be winter this year, I think they said, so it'll probably be like December. But still, like, it's not going to be fully out until next year, so. But that's okay. I can put that one on the back burner. Like I said, I'm not buying Pokemon right away just because I don't need another long-ass game to distract myself. Like, that's the thing. I don't ever feel an urgent need to play Pokemon. It's more of like a subtle, I need some time. I don't know. I'm getting news from people that they're not able to add me, which is weird. I have to like double check my privacy settings or something because I got Omega Alter's request okay, but I didn't get other people, so I gotta check my settings.
Yeah, people like I basically went into our Discord and been like, "Hey, yo, Omega's lonely. Add him, and me too, I guess." Oh,
I might have it on like friend of friends still.
yeah, no, I'm like looking at like they added me first. Yes, I am the gatekeeper.
I mean, that would be my good system. I can make it public for a little bit at least. Let me figure out where the flip that is in my menus. Is that network? Account management?
I'm currently playing the
privacy settings.
My current time sync, which is Trails of Cold Steel 3, which I guess I could talk about once we are done.
Yeah, basically, since we're still on games, let me double check the time. 2:10. So, you played a fucking lot of Starbound last night, you maniac.
It's like, I'm sorry, it's like the one thing I got over you, I swear to God. It's just my ability to stream fucking forever.
It does make it hard for me to follow some of the streams, but yeah, no, that's a thing you are really good at, and I'm envious of this. Like, I play SOMA for like an hour, 2 hours, and I'm like, okay, everybody, I gotta take a break. I go stretch my legs, go pee. You know, I start to feel a little after a 4 hour solid session. I'm kind of like, okay, it's probably a good time to end this.
I guess I can talk about Starbound too, though. Actually,
so I gotta figure this shit out.
All right. So first off, I forgot. I actually like Starbound way more than I like Terraria for a lot of things. So I think I put this in the description, but Starbound is basically just space Terraria, and I think it's an improvement on a lot of places. I think the only place that I think that Terraria got to beat is its Metrovania aspects of, here, have all this shit, now combine this shit to make new shit. That's literally one of the more reasons I like to play fucking Terraria, because I like taking accessories and weapons, adding some shit to them, and making something new. Like, I don't know what that feeling, I would describe that feeling is, but I fucking love it. And you don't really get that in Starbound, but Starbound has a lot of other stuff in it, like?
Alright, so clearly he died. He'll be back. I'll pause it for you, the audience. Alright, so you're back. You were saying it has stuff like?
I like Terraria, but it's a bit different. Like, for one, like the artwork, like the pixel work in Starbound is a lot more detailed. So your models, your building and stuff, you can get a lot more details and stuff. The furniture is a lot more unique.
How would I say that? Like, I think Terraria's got a very deliberate, like, retro bit style, whereas Starbound is, like, modern, high-level 2D pixel art graphics.
Yeah. And, like, you can get, like, it's the same thing of, you build houses and stuff, but you don't have, like, specific NPCs. Instead, you can just put in you make a room, as long as it isn't fucking filled with holes and has a light, you can just put someone in it, and depending on the things you put in it, you can get different people. You can get merchants, you can get cooks, you can get soldiers and stuff. You can just build this giant outpost of, just whoever you want. You can get, like, because the thing that Starbound definitely has in Terraria is it's a kind of I don't know if it's the word is procedure generated.
I think it's procedurally generated. The maps are random and they follow a system.
Yeah. And, like, so you can go onto a world and find, like, a overrun prison, and if you take objects from that overrun prison, put them in a fucking room, and throw a colony deed on it, you'll get a prisoner in there. So it's kind of things like that. Like, if you check on the stream, I made what I call the Florin Embassy, because the Florins, there's, 6 races?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say, I can't remember.
6 ones you can pick.
And one of them are these plant people called Florins, and they're kind of a primitive, no, not really primitive, but they're kind of a tribal, race. They like hunting, and they use spears and stuff, and, a lot of, tribal, aesthetics. So if you fill up a house with, like, plant matter, wicker, and a bunch of their own furniture, you get Florin. So I have, I made a 2-story building with, 3 rooms, put a bunch of Florin stuff in it, and I got, 3 Florins in it, and apparently the, better stuff you put in it, the more higher quality person you get. You can get basic people who, don't even have weapons, but if you, put in, weapons and stuff into the room, you have a better chance of getting the soldiers. Which I do, and, I have 3 people who will just, anything that comes near my base, it's immediately fucked up. I'm all like, this is exactly what I wanted. I didn't know it's what I wanted, but it's exactly what I wanted. So, like I really like that. It feeds into my I'm gonna fucking interior decorate the fuck out of this planet, which I think on one hand is good for me. I'm not entirely always good if it's good for stream because sometimes I go into my zone of I'm building this fucking thing. And I don't know, like it seems like I had like solid views, but I think some of them were just lurkers or someone who just had it on in the background. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not gonna like cast fucking stones because I said I was streaming in like 1 a.m. my time because I don't give a fuck. What is sleep even? I got done with it, got in bed, and I played Azure Lane and FGO until like 5 a.m. I could have kept playing. I could have kept streaming, but I was all like, I don't want to like do a 12-hour stream. That just seems weird. So I'd settle for a 9.
Yeah. But so the moral of this is that you discovered tonight, or today-ish, however you want to phrase that, you maybe did a little whoopsie.
I did do a little whoopsie. So I do a thing where I take breaks like basically every 2 hours because you need to get up, stretch, get a water, bathroom, all that crazy stuff. And I usually turn off my mic because I don't want you guys to hear me like, just squeaking around, shuffling around.
No, not unless it's interesting.
Not unless it's interesting. Like when my buddy Red was here and you could hear me talking to him, I thought that, that's interesting. People might enjoy that. So I left my mic on, but otherwise I'm just like, nah. So I turn off my mic and I usually go around and I usually turn it back on at the when I get back on, click, talk to people, all that crazy stuff.
Right. I will say this, like I have done this a lot in the past. I've had mic troubles with streams. Like there's a couple of our old episodes of Life is Strange that I did where you can't hear me at all because my audio setup wasn't good and nobody told me.
Yeah.
So that's why like now I'm super paranoid about double checking that my mic works.
Yeah, no, I might try something different. Maybe I'll I'll try like muting it in something else. I don't know. But, so yeah, like the last, like, I don't know, maybe like 2 hours or something of my stream is just dead silent. I'm all like, I'm doing stuff, but there's no commentary, and I don't know how much people are going to like that.
I say leave it up because there's a lot of other stuff in there. And if they don't like the last hour, well, they don't like, they don't like it. I did notice that people, I don't know what they were doing, but people didn't seem to notice, except at maybe the very end, that like there was a problem. Like there was a little bit of chat, and then there's just in the chat log, there's like silence for 2 hours from there too. So I don't know if if you just went on a little long so that most of your audience got sleepy or had other shit to do.
I think it was just because it was a Friday. Also, at one point, I literally left for a half hour to go get Arby's.
Well, I did notice you got your overlays fixed. That's cool.
Oh yeah, I can now leave like little messages and stuff. But like during the time when I went out to Arby's, my computer ghosted. Like I'm starting to get to this idea that it's depending on what I might be doing that leads to ghosting. Like if I leave my computer too inactive, it might ghost.
It like probably like cycles down and then it's like blah.
Yeah. Cause like that's what's been happening here. Like right now, I'm not doing really anything else on my computer except using Discord on the mic. And I've been ghosting fairly frequently, but like when I stream, I almost never ghost.
Right, because your machine is fired up and doing some shit.
Yeah, and the only time that it ghosted is when I was away from my computer for like almost like half an hour.
Right, you idled.
Yeah, so I think that's what it has to do, but at the same time, I do know that if I'm doing too much or something weird, my computer will still ghost. So I don't know. This is the problem I'm having. I'm pretty sure I can solve this problem just by buying new hardware, but that's like literally like $300 because
that's a money problem. You can solve this by throwing money at it, but
like because like I said, I've been looking into some like cost-effective like things I can get like because like if we're gonna talk hardware, like most hardware like motherboards have moved up to DDR4 now, which means I would need to get a new motherboard, new memory, new RAM. And if I'm getting a new motherboard and new RAM, I might as well get a new processor because, especially nowadays, some chipsets don't like... Some motherboards won't like older chipsets and, vice versa. It's like no point in putting in making, forcing compatibility issues already. So it's like, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure my old-ass graphics card would still be fine. As I said, like, those really haven't changed in a long-ass time. I don't see any reason why not. But still, that's like, getting yeah, it's like I can get I can get like everything for like $300, but like I still have things that because I'm still unemployed. I'm living by the skin of my fucking teeth here. and I like still buy games and stuff. So it's like I can't.
Well, that's a lot of that's thanks to your generous donations, the audience.
Oh yeah,
I think we can safely say it's a new month. October was a great month for us. We're gonna get Daddy Google Bucks again.
Yeah,
because thanks to literally your generous donations and watch hours.
Mm-hmm.
So like, hey, keep it up, just a little bit here and there. And like I said, if you like us streaming, we do have Super Chat enabled. You can just drop us a little tip. Like, even if it's just like 99 cents or whatever, every little thing helps. Patreon stuff helps too. And just like, yeah, no, I know, like, somebody super chatted my SOMA stream. It was just a little like, they threw a couple bucks at us and were just, you know, it was just a little like, hello. And I'm like, oh, hey, hello. Thanks for that tip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just a little acknowledgement. It's that simple.
Some people have asked, like, why don't I like to go on Twitch or whatnot? And like, I don't know if I'm good enough for Twitch, because like Twitch community is definitely a thing. Like, you have to be either doing like one or two things to get good on Twitch. You either have to be playing something super recent and super now, or you have to be playing something super competitive and be super good at it. So I'm like,
yeah, and I think some people do organically build up an audience, but I don't know if our audience would move over to Twitch. We're already on YouTube. We're already monetized on YouTube, and we got all our stuff, you know? Like, we don't have to jump through any hoops to do it. So it's like, I don't know. YouTube works for us. I know that their streaming isn't as perfected as Twitch is, but it so far has been working okay for us. Yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, though, speaking of specs, so that reminds me, I retweeted this last night, but you were busy streaming for a long time, so I don't know if you saw it. But apparently the minimum spec for Master Chief Collection on and Halo Reach, specifically on Master Chief Collection, for PC has been posted.
Oh.
So, I know we've talked about doing that in the future, I just figured I'd want to share with you.
Yeah.
Because I have to double check because I've got an older machine, so some of this stuff probably doesn't carry over, so I gotta double check, but goddamn, I'd love to. Not to co-op with you, but just in general, I'd love to play some fucking Halo. I love those games a lot, and like I said, that's another one of those things where Halos are like, a lot of people love the multiplayer, and I do too, in some points, but I've only played it very little bit. I've mostly played the story, and a lot of those classic Halo games have really good fucking story and look and stuff, and so I would love to just, you know, share that with you, do some co-op stuff with Halo.
I could do that. I could yell about things in the background, drive warthogs. And
also, you would be a truly fresh experience, because I think you even said to me, you didn't even realize Halo was that big of a single-player thing, and I'm like, no, it is. It's got a big story. It got a lot of EU stuff.
Yeah, no,
One
like,
Panda is also asking, in case it was missed, Crosswave is going to be on Steam next year. Yep. So when it gets, I don't know. That's probably not something my PC is going to run real well, but
I'm probably going to get on PS4, because I don't know. I just feel like it's a PS4 game to me.
Yeah, it feels like a more of a console-y thing, but if that means you can play it on your own on Steam, that's great too.
Yep. I was like, nothing against, like I said, I have nothing against like PC gamers. I like PC gaming. It's just like for certain games I like in certain areas.
Yeah. Another thing is if it'll also I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna be on the Switch. Like, that might also be a thing. Yeah, if it's not too graphically intense, being able to just pick it up and carry it with me to bed. Haven't played my Switch in a while, because I only own a couple games for it. The wealth of brand new games for my PS4 is kind of cockbucked me out of future Switch releases, but I didn't forget about you, Switch baby. I still love you. I just need some fucking time. Ooh. Oh, man. Games. But yeah, I'll probably get Pokemon next from a Switch. I don't know. People have Pokemon complaints or Pokemon whatevers or Pokemon leaks, and I'm like, I don't care, dude. It's Pokemon. I'm gonna buy it. This is the first time I'm gonna be able to buy a brand new Pokemon game in literally years, because I never got around to buying a 3DS. So, like, fuck it, dude. I don't care. I don't care if you've got weird National Dex shit or there's no Pokemon Bank or whatever. I missed all that. So, I'm here. It's on the Switch, kids. It's for me.
You doing it.
So, yeah. But alright, so we've talked about lots of games and stuff. That was Starbound. Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about Starbound?
Oh, no, it's like, I'm probably, like, there's gonna be a Halloween party at my house tonight, and I'm probably not gonna fucking go, because I don't want to fucking deal with people, so that probably means I'll stream. There might just be party noises in the background, and drunk people trying to barge into my room.
Like I said, I'm gonna jump back to, I want to try and figure out where I zoned out and go back to Starbound, because what I was listening to, I liked hearing you play, because, like, it's good to see you explore and do your decorating and stuff and talk about stuff, but also I was like, I'm way too into the Outer Worlds. I am not paying any fucking attention to what he's saying. I should just not be here. I'm not contributing in any way, which is okay. So we'll see what I do. Maybe I'll spend my time trying to catch up on the last stream while you stream tonight, and I continue to play Outer Worlds, because holy shit, it's so good.
I am dumb. Okay. Yeah, I guess if I was going to talk any more games, that's the game I'm currently playing, which is Trails of Cold Steel 3, which, again, continues to be a fascinating experience in this saga of games. I'll probably save it for next time, though, because I actually have some big thoughts. Because especially Cold Steel here, there's a lot of there's a lot of political drama and stuff, and it's kind of awesome to see and talk about, and on themes and stuff. And it's not something that I probably want to talk about at length. But I think we've talked long enough tonight, so I'll put a bullet in it for next week.
We're 2.5 hours.
Yeah, well, I said our cutoff is 3, and I don't want to risk it. So.
All right, sure. You'll put a pin in that topic for maybe when you've got a little bit more and we can go in full detail.
Yeah.
Because honestly, next week will be the 9th. That's a day after Death Stranding comes out officially. I haven't beat the game, but I'm hoping we'll probably have initial impressions of Death Stranding, or maybe not even, because like you said, you were thinking probably you'd stream after Let's Take FTO. So yeah, we might have initial impressions, but if it's really a 50-hour plus experience, we're probably not going to be that far in one day. Yeah, because I don't know about you, I'm not speedrunning this shit. I'm going to take my time to get that Koji feel, see what it's out, feel it out, do some fun stuff. So we'll have more of that next week. Also, I don't know when we're going to find time to play Eclipse Phase. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I must have just cut out for a second. In addition to you ghosting, I think my Discord's being a little weird tonight.
Spooky.
But yes, I said, I don't know when we're going to get around to playing Eclipse Phase. We recorded Session 0. It took way longer than I thought, but that was my mistake. I was dumb. But it's 3 hours of audio, which uploaded to... it's over 3 hours of audio, but it uploaded okay to Patreon. I'm not sure how that works.
Maybe
the file was smaller somehow? I don't know. It's weird.
Magic.
But yeah, so that's up on our channel, public, and also you can get the audio version if you're a patron. If you want to listen to me and the StudiOmega players, as they're called, sit down and talk through character creation and learn about Eclipse Phase and stuff.
Ta-da.
And we will play games with those characters at some point. I don't know. Normally Sunday would probably be our good day, but that's a little soon from now, so I'm I don't know if I want to bring that up, especially considering, like I said, I'm still mainlining games. So, I could mention it to the team tonight. I don't know.
No, you can say it. I'd be down to clown.
All right, I'll mention it at least. We'll see if anything urgent comes up, and if not, whatever, dude. It's a thing. But yeah, we're doing Eclipse Phase now. We're gonna play Eclipse Phase 2nd Edition. We've got some characters made. I know what pre-made scenarios I'm gonna run for a little bit, and I'm kicking the can around on a few ideas in my head. Hopefully I'll get some time to write them down some more. I know I didn't, because when I first get up in the day, there's usually if we're on a recording day, there's a semi-narrow window where I'm I only have really a couple hours of free time before it's time to sit down and record. Because we don't ever want to record too late, because that just delays the whole process,
Yeah.
So I spent most of that writing instead of playing Outer Worlds already, so I'm sketching out some ideas, and hopefully I'm going to bamboozle you and blow your minds. But I got to go do some research about Europa now.
Yeah, Lucky actually has to finish his gear list, because I do like how they do gear points now, but it just means that you only get a limited stuff at the beginning. I'm just but what do I need besides what do I want?
Who knows?
Yeah.
And some of that will probably emerge in play.
Yeah.
Right? Because technically the gear points budget is permission, and you can adjust it. I was I'll do the standard 20 points because I don't know what I'm doing yet,
Yeah.
That's how I usually approach games. Is I never read a book and go I'm going to change this and that and the other thing. I know some people do. That's not a dig against any in the audience. I'm just talking in general. I've met those people who are they see a product, a finished product that was probably play tested. Multiple people may have spent hours of writing it, editing it, and printing it. And they're I'm going to just tear out some pages and do something different. I'm okay, that's your prerogative, but that's not... I never assume that my version of the game is right away. I like to actually play the game as they made it, and then go, alright, this doesn't work for me and my group a little. I can change this. Reading EP2 and especially making the gear list, I'm already thinking of oh man, there's a couple of things I could homebrew into this, but I don't want to yet start rolling that engine out. Also, I'd want to double check, because there's some stuff that was homebrewed in past editions. I don't want to just I don't know if I want to just steal the name of and reiterate in the second edition. I'd maybe want to double check to see if they've done anything with it, but who knows?
Yeah. I, for one, have to go read up on the Morningstar Collective to see how much of a fucking, how much of a, corporate scumlord I am.
Not that much. You're the nice hypercapitalism. You're the good guys. It's really weird how that works in Eclipse Phase, where you're like, oh no, hypercapitalism is universally bad. Venus is a nice place. They're never going to accomplish anything, but they're nice at least.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. That's okay. Ron's character, the violent communist Barsoomian, was not going to shoot you right away, at least.
Yeah, no, I had to make a choice here. It's like, do I get shot immediately or maybe later?
Yeah. But that we've got as is usual for EP, we have a fun, diverse group.
Mm-hmm.
We've got you went whole hog on the face thing. You went all in, took combat paralysis and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you are... But also, your skill points immediately shook out, so you were like, I am literally so good at Persuade, like, I can't take any more Persuade packages because I will just get free skill points. Like, you struggled with your third character option because you were like, all this other good stuff that makes sense overlaps so much, and it's just like, what do I do with that?
Yeah.
So you're very focused on the face parts.
I do like talking.
Marth is making a soldier async, so he's a murder machine who has psi powers and who might go crazy. But that seemed to have very comfortably focused and given him a lot of skills. Ron went for our sneaky pants guy. He's a covert operative, so he's got a lot of like infiltration, sabotage stuff. I know he took hardware demolition, so he does bombs and things. He can also kill people, but, his skills seem diversified for, like I said, a lot of that cloak and dagger shit. And Axe is our fourth player, who managed to comfortably multi-class into being both the hacker computer man and the medic. Like, he's got a couple of different medical skills at a very decent rating and stuff. So that'll be fun, and I already know what scenario we're going to play. Just for the sake of spoilers, I'm not going to mention the name. But we'll start on Locus, which is in the Jovian Trojans and is an autonomous tab. So, like, I know some of you have been adding me, like, is restricted stuff okay? I'm like, yeah, I was starting out at an anarchist place, okay? There's no rules. Just right. It's like Outback Steakhouse. Though I will say, playing the Outer Worlds has definitely got me like, oh man, I need to make sure to insert little cosmetic brand touches with, like, the food and drink and stuff. And maybe I will, but okay, yeah. Look forward to Eclipse Phase APs in the future, audience. Finally. It only took us, like, a month. Lucky, are you still there?
Yeah.
That's okay, I think we're wrapping up at 2.5 hours. We'll get out of here.
Yeah.
So I said my piece about Eclipse Phase. You're, I'm sure, super excited to play your new character.
Oh, I am.
And we'll see what happens, and hopefully nothing terrible happens that I didn't cause.
Specifically.
Yes, no, like, terrible stuff will happen. I just need it to be intentional.
Yeah.
And I already, like I said, I gave the universal content warning at the front of the session 0. Sorry, just my mic knob, it's a little loose. Don't know why I'm bothering, because we're about to wrap up here. But, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So, I think we've said everything we want to say. There's not really anything to talk about anime-wise yet.
No, not really.
We like Azure Lane, but we discussed this last night. We're not really super keeping up on the anime. It's just kind of casual watch when you feel like it. And there's no new My Hero Is it this week, period?
I'm not sure. I do know, like, I'm not sure. I just know, fucking rugby.
Yeah, it was delayed because of a professional rugby match, which has some people consternated, but those people need to remember this is airing on broadcast TV in Japan, not... Like, just because we experience it through streaming doesn't mean that it's truly video on demand, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a thing. And other than that, I haven't... It's not like I've been watching other anime. My anime has just slowed down because I'm just dealing with so many games.
Yeah, you probably haven't finished Princess Principal yet, have you?
No. It's still in my list of things to do. I just, we have a very hectic entertainment schedule, and it's hard to balance all the things, because I really cannot multitask them. Like, you cannot play a game good and also watch something.
No, not really, no. You can use a gacha and watch something, but not game and watch.
Yeah. But what about Mr. Game and Watch?
Smash.
Alright, well, that seems like a good point ending to keep up. Tune in next week for more news about stuff and things.
And places.
Maybe some places, who knows?
Maybe.
So I'll go ahead and say the usual outro. And hey, if you watch this on YouTube, be sure to give us a like if you liked it. Leave any comments you have in the comment section down below, or join our Discord. That link is, as always, in our description or on our channel page. Also, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel so you always get our latest videos, and considering the bell for notifications so you always know when that latest video is posted. Because WhatsApp takes a long time to edit and render, so it gets kind of weird sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early, in audio format, downloadable, for as little as $1 a month and various other levels. You know, it's a new month, you can jump right into that. We're running a topic poll right now, for instance, for Let's Talk FGO. But you can, as always, just hang out with us, just watch us, donate through Super Chat, whatever, and just, keep the support alive. We love that you sit here and tolerate us for multiple hours at a time, enough that we can make this stuff.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's a good point as any to tune in. So tune in next week for more What's Up and for more Let's Talk FGO.
Lucky out. I'm gonna go change into my Dragon Kigurumi.